have that other part when I went.
We will start with information about Bruce Willis. Actually, more particularly, it is about Tallulah Willis, the daughter of both he and Demi Moore. She revealed that she has been diagnosed with autism. The 37-year-old shared a throwback video and captioned it with a playful reference to her diagnosis. In the comments, she confirmed that this was the first time that she publicly shared her diagnosis, which she had received during the summer and has since changed her life. So Autism Speaks defines autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, as a range of conditions characterized by challenges in social skills, repetitive behaviors, and communication. While signs of autism typically present around ages 2 to 3. The nature of the spectrum can sometimes lead to delayed diagnosis, as doctors may want to allow time for development.
So I guess in a lot of things we would used to define as quirky or
awkward,
idiosyncratic or whatever fall on the spectrum.
Absolutely. Without question. I have a child who falls in that spectrum, and I see it firsthand, and now it has opened up my eyes to other people that I encounter and can pick up on some possible. Now, listen, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not there to diagnose
You're a lawyer.
them, but I've become more sensitive to when I notice someone who is showing signs of that, to understand that their idea of communication is slightly different than someone who is not on the spectrum, and therefore I try to have more patience with somebody like that.
Yeah, because it could get them into trouble.
I saw some guy when we were in Florida. I went to the Waffle House to have some breakfast, and he was working there, and I could tell right away that there was something off. So I made sure I went over and told him what a great job he was doing, and,
that's
just
awesome,
just to reinforce and have some one-on-one communication. I implore those.
It's good that you did that.
That if you come across somebody who seems a tad off to you, whatever that means, to just be patient and understand that their understanding is different.
My question to you is, did you need to dine and dash? And that was
that was rude.
That was out of there.
Take advantage of this kid.
I see a hooker out there twirling her hair, and I'm getting a boner, so you'll understand if I skip out on my moons over my hammy.
But Tallulah has been open about her health struggles on social media, previously discussing her recovery from an eating disorder as well. So she's just recently revealed this, and she says it's been a good thing for her to understand.
And the picture of her and her father, just wonderful.
Yep.
I was in South Carolina and Florida for all last week, and Pressy just reminded me I never went to Waffle House, and that was on my list of things to do. Damn it!
I always do it when I'm down that way.
There's some you got Waffle Houses here if you want to do a make good.
They're not close enough.
Like Bethlehem.
Just hop in the car, take a 9-hour drive.
Richard Simmons shared a cryptic post on Monday saying, "I am dying," while encouraging people to eat healthy and hug their loved ones. He later clarified, saying that he's not dying, and apologized for any confusion. The 75-year-old fitness coach wrote on Facebook Monday morning that he had some news. He said, "Please don't be sad. I am ... dying." And he said, "Oh, I can see your faces now. The truth is we're all dying. Every day we live, we are getting closer to our death." And he said, "Why am I telling you this? Because I want you to enjoy your life to the fullest every single day. Get up in the morning and look at the sky, count your blessings, and enjoy." And he then encouraged his followers to start the day with a healthy meal and exercise. He said, "There's something else very important that you must do. Tell the ones that you love them. Hug those people and children who you really care for. A big hug really does go a long way."
So we haven't heard from him in years, and this is what he says: "I'm dying."
Yeah,
he's actually becoming more vocal.
And I agree, and I think this is sort of this is back to his old sort of stuff, which is the inspirational life lessons. And maybe whatever he's been in, perhaps and we don't know, but maybe he's been incited by, say, the Pauly Shore. The reaction to a movie about him and the fan love.
Well, yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
So they've noted that has kind of spurred him to get a little bit more public these days.
I'd like to see him.
I would too.
Yeah.
So later that afternoon, after he posted that initial message, he wrote, "Sorry, many of you have gotten upset about my message today. Even the press has gotten in touch with me. I am not dying. It was a message about saying how we should embrace every day that we have. And it was back in January that he commented on the Pauly Shore thing because supposedly there was a word that there was going to be an upcoming biopic starring Pauly. He said, I've never given my permission for this movie, so don't believe everything you read. I no longer have a manager. I no longer have a publicist. I just try to live a quiet life and peaceful. Thank you for all your love and support. And since then, he's been offering more frequent posts on social media, with motivational messages and sharing stories about moments and people who have impacted his life. He also released, I didn't know this, several songs on YouTube, which he said in one post this month that he wrote with his partners, Chris and Kathy Phillips. He said most people have never heard them.
Did he do Space People? That was one of his ones? Okay, good. I love that song.
Really, really good. Come on, there you go.
There it is. So they don't come from here.
I would like to see him do something, even if it's just perhaps from his home or... the guy really did inspire a lot of people, you know?
I just thought he was, just...
it's fun.
He was a bright light.
It's funny. Yeah.
Former Keeping Up with the Kardashians co-stars Lamar Odom and Caitlyn Jenner are teaming up for a new podcast called Keeping Up with Sports.
We're back, bitches.
The show, described as the ultimate sports show, will feature Odom, Jenner, and co-host Zach Hirsch.
I talk sports and he does horny goat weed.
Discussing various sports topics. The first episode is set to be released soon on platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
This is good because there are not enough podcasts out there to listen to or watch, and so this will be good.
So they're going to have celebrity guests such as Sugar Ray Leonard, Steve-O, and Amber Rose that are confirmed to appear.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
With Lamar and Caitlyn.
Probably have Burt Kreischer on because Caitlyn did Kreischer's show.
Yeah.
Right?
Possible.
The Cabin show.
Hey, this is wild. Popular YouTuber MrBeast, which I'm really not familiar with. You familiar with it?
Yeah, he did something locally that was really impressive, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, who is he?
He's one of the wealthiest YouTube sensations and has done tons of altruistic work.
What does he do? What is his show?
He makes YouTube videos.
Like goofy videos, contest videos, right?
Yeah, he'll do stuff like that, but then he's known for giving. Like, that's what he does. We just recently went to that American Dream. He has a burger place in there, and I took Jace to the MrBeast burger.
Well, he has inked a deal with Prime Video for a new reality competition called Beast Games. It will feature 1,000 contestants, and here's the hook on this. They're going to be battling it out for a chance to win $5 million. Making it the largest cash prize in TV history.
So not only, so he's done that. He does the very charitable work. He's actually kind of buying up a small town, Preston, for his employees to live in.
What?
Yeah, he's got massive cash.
So there's a local food organization called Sharing Excess. We've talked about them a few times. They did that Avogeddon thing.
Oh, yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah, and I've gotten to know them a little bit. They sort of pick up where Phil Abundance leaves off. They do a lot of the perishable food items.
They're awesome.
They're awesome. I really like them a lot. It's a great local charity. But MrBeast stepped in and essentially helped them build this distribution center. I think it's in Brooklyn, and gave them a lot of money, multi-million-dollar, stipend for no reason other than to give, other than charity.
That's awesome.
That's what he does.
They should have built it
That's
here,
cool.
though.
Man, there are so many different personalities now. I just can't keep track of them.
Yeah.
This guy's huge.
No.
I've got my own little world of several people you guys probably have never heard of as well.
Yeah.
On YouTube, but
He's big with like the teens.
okay. Specific challenges of the show have yet to be revealed, but it promises a fast-paced and high-production format. The premiere date for Beast Games is yet to be announced, but it will be exclusively available on Prime Video globally. He said in a statement, my goal is to make the greatest show possible, improve YouTubers and creators can succeed on other platforms. Amazon gave me the creative control that I need to try and make it happen, and I hope to make the YouTube community proud.
Let's see if that does happen. So who has been a big port from the world of YouTube stardom to a successful TV show? Has there been anybody that stands out?
There's got to be.
Yeah, none coming to mind.
Think of one, I can't, but I'm sure that there are.
Because they will go around and they will be at like Helium and they'll come into town.
Do we throw Logan Paul in there? He's turned it into a boxing career.
Yeah, but they were
he's
TV
people outside of the sphere of just YouTube.
Maybe.
So.
Maybe one.
Yeah. I have Ben Affleck news. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez were forced to
I'd
abandon.
like to apologize to Jennifer Garner and her pool boy, Ben Affleck, for incorporating them into my fantasy life. I apologize to anyone who's been offended by my fictional creations. Chris,
It's funny.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Oh my god!
Sometimes I
My head's gonna explode.
Yeah. There was a stretch there where I hated those clips, and then it came around and I liked them. I think I'm going back to hating them again.
You have to. We've got to get it out of our systems.
As long as I sit here and laugh, Steve will keep playing it. You do realize that, right? So it's all on my shoulders.
We know.
My job is to make Preston laugh.
Yeah. All right. So anyhow, they were forced to abandon their BMW and call a car after a flat tire interrupted their Los Angeles outing Saturday
You gotta figure,
afternoon.
wouldn't you figure, Preston? I know you. Don't the Beamers have run flats?
I
Right?
would think so.
Don't you? I mean,
but what they don't have are spares. So he pulled over to look in the trunk for it.
Oh, man.
And he actually, I don't know why, he took his shirt off.
yeah.
And you see his full back tattoo.
Which is a horrible tattoo.
I don't know
Every time
why-
I check my oil, I take my pants off.
I don't know why he took his shirt
Did
off.
he do it because he knew paparazzi was nearby?
He definitely knew because they were taking tons of pictures.
Or what color was his shirt? Because when you get into the trunk and you grab that tire, you get like the black stuff all over your hands. So maybe
True.
he didn't
there
wanna-
was no tire in the trunk, though.
Yeah, but he didn't know that.
Okay, so
You
let me
know?
take off my shirt first, just in
Yeah.
case.
Just in
Yeah.
case.
Let me pleasure myself while I look for a tire.
So, but I do have kind of wardrobe information if you want to know what you should wear when you have a flat tire, because Jen was dressed in an all black outfit for they had just come from a date at Johnny's Pizzeria.
Ooh, I like that they did that.
And so she had an all black outfit for the meal, from her sunglasses to her long sleeve shirt and matching leggings. The singer paired the monochromatic look with white tennis shoes. As for Affleck, he cut a casual figure in a flannel shirt and jeans, sporting a similar style while attending the Lakers game that evening. And Jen, later on at the game, swapped her athleisure for a tweed jacket over a
my
white tee, wide leg jeans, and sequin boots for the game at Crypto.com Arena.
So your car doesn't have a spare, right?
No, it
Mine does
doesn't.
not. Kathy, you? Spare tire in your car?
No.
Nick?
I have that weirdo thing that I need to
Yeah.
reinflate it and then I can drive on it.
Okay.
I have the donut.
Okay, the donut.
Yeah, which I'm kind of bummed that my car now doesn't have. I kind of fancy myself a solid tire changer,
I'm damn good.
and I don't have that in my life anymore. Maybe I should start a business.
Yeah.
Preston's flat fixes.
Yeah, flat fixers.
So
It was weird when I had a flat. I had to call for service to get them to come, repair it.
Yeah, and that's what they had to do for
Yeah.
this. They had to call for somebody. By the way, Ben's 12-year-old son Samuel rocked a purple Lakers gear and green sneaker combo at the game, just in case you were
Wait, purple
wondering.
and green? That's stupid.
It's like the purple and
Joker.
green, like the Joker, right?
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of shoes, Little Nas made a stylish appearance at Sunday's New York City Half Marathon. He appeared to opt for fashion over function as he took part in the race, wearing a pair of Coach high-top sneakers.
I think that would be a sort of a bitch to run in those, right? Long distance?
The high tops?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
The label's distressed high top style is no longer available on Coach.com, but the style is on sale for $162.25 on Amazon.
God almighty.
He teamed the white high tops with a pair of black shorts and a St. Patrick's Day appropriate green t-shirt printed with the words NYC Half. He could be seen smiling as he pounded the streets of the Big Apple from photos. He tried to find a pair of running shoes before competing in the race, but the store was closed.
Oh, my God.
And so he had to wear. Wouldn't you have your shoes? You're
can't-
running a half
yeah.
marathon.
Yeah.
I know.
Wouldn't you have those ready to go like days in advance?
Ready to go.
Maybe training.
Really shouldn't run in brand new sneakers
Yeah.
for a half
Yeah.
marathon. Like
my
you
God.
really need to break them in.
Dude,
have a couple of runs in them.
I agree.
Blisters.
Yeah, you have so that now I'm into that. The notion of having different shoes for different things, like for hiking and for working out, used to seem the most ridiculous thing in the world to me. But no, after a while, once your feet start taking a pounding, you realize you need the right shoe for the right thing you're doing.
Yeah, my sister-in-law is she does like a lot of those Tough Mudders, but I believe she's done marathons as well. And I can't remember if it was new shoes or new socks that she wore for the marathon, but like her toenails were falling off.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
I brought new sandals to Clearwater, and when I walked across the street to go to the restaurant, I got a blister.
Oh my God.
Just
Yeah.
walking across the street.
Yeah, because they were new. They were brand new.
Got to break them in, man.
Got a blister situation
It was-
here on the drag.
Yeah, it was tough.
This is hilarious. So, the Orlando Magic realized it made a bit of a mistake on Sunday after its social media team posted what it felt was an innocent jersey swap between Grady Dick and Anthony Black.
Oh, my.
Before catching on to the inappropriate message, the exchange spelled out the two rookie Hoopers met on the court to show love to each other following the Magic's 111-96 win over the Toronto Raptors. And after talking for a bit, it appeared that a light bulb went off in both Black and Dick's heads.
Come on, they didn't know.
They knew.
No, they knew.
knew.
They absolutely knew.
Yeah, the Magic didn't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They didn't. Nobody picked up on that until after the fact. Come on.
Maybe they did, but they were embarrassed by the fact that it was posted on their Twitter account.
So they decided
hilarious.
to gift each other the jerseys off of their backs as part of the common NBA tradition, but it was clear they had an elaborate plan to crack a quick joke using their surnames. The broadcast cameras caught Black running over to a photog to make sure that they captured the swap. And when he posted alongside Dick, he positioned himself with his left to the left. So the names then read Black, last name, Dick, last name. Yeah.
It's when Chris Long and Fletcher Cox
Yes.
played on the Eagles.
Yes.
They would sit next to each other on the bench from time to time.
That's how you
It was
do it.
Pretty great.
So Black had a smirk on his face as he held Dick's jersey, and his buddy was also smiling from ear to ear. So.
That brings up a whole, like in school, kids who had horrible names, and then if the name was backwards, the kids would start laughing. But this is, they're both grinning. You know, they know
look
exactly.
at their
Yeah,
faces.
it's hilarious.
That's priceless.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome. Good for them. This is big news. Aaron Taylor Johnson, this is according to sources, has been formally offered the opportunity to play James Bond, putting an end to months of speculation regarding Daniel Craig's successor.
I'm very happy with this. I think he is a very good choice.
I agree.
And it's funny, Preston, that Kick-Ass is going to be James Bond. But the dude got jacked. He's really a good action star. If you see, he plays a villain, quasi-villain in Bullet Train, and he was in that Gareth Edwards Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
I think he's a terrific choice.
He's got that chiseled face look about him. So recent poll, he's 33. He's yet to officially accept the role, but should he do it, he will become only the 7th actor to play the secret agent since the franchise launched in 1962, by the way.
And they need someone who's young because they're going to sign him up for multiple movies.
Right. So Idris Elba was the public's number one choice for the role, but he's 51 years old.
and ain't going to happen.
And he's not going to he could do it for a few years, but they usually like to get some legs out of these guys.
They want a franchise player.
Aaron, who is known for his roles in Nocturnal Animals, Kick-Ass, Nowhere Boy, and Avengers Age of Ultron, has landed the coveted part. Responding to the rumors a little while back, he was a bit coy. He said, "I find it charming and wonderful that people see me in that role. I take it as a great compliment." He began acting as a child and has seen his career go from strength to strength with 3 huge film appearances this year alone. He'll be starring as a famous action star who goes missing in The Fall Guy and will be opposite Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt in that. And will also be appearing in the hotly anticipated remake of the 1922 Gothic horror Nosferatu, and featuring a star-studded cast, including Bill Skarsgård, Nicholas Hoult, Lily Rose Depp, and Willem Dafoe.
He's also in Craven, which
But
is
his
coming
biggest
out.
upcoming role will see him play the titular role in Craven the Hunter, the 5th film in Sony's Spider-Man universe. He's also been nominated for 2 BAFTAs and previously won Best Supporting Actor at the Golden Globes for Nocturnal Animals.
His wife is a director who's, I think, like 26 years older than he is.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're a fine-looking couple.
Yeah, good for him. Hope that ends up being, makes it to fruition.
Yes, I'm all for it.
Let's see. One more quick thing. We're running out of time here. Bill Hader, or at least an animated character that he voices, will don a red and white striped top hat in a new adaptation of Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat. He will lead a vocal ensemble that includes Quinta Brunson, Bowen Yang, Matt Berry, and others. The Cat in the Hat will open in theaters March 6, 2026. Although the book is a children's classic, it has a checkered cinematic legacy. 2003 live-action adaptation starring Mike Myers as he was riding high of Austin Powers collapsed at the box office. It earned $134 million on a $109 million budget and became a money loser when marketing and distribution costs were factored into the equation. Pretty much ended Myers' hot streak at that time and received pulverizing reviews. The film was nominated for several Razzies, winning the prize for the worst excuse for an actual movie. Over such heavy hitters as From Justin to Kelly and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle.
I mean,
Justin and Kelly.
that was not bad.
That is a good movie.
It was up for a Razzie.
Yeah, I remember this was the thing at that time. Is everything Mike Myers did was Austin Powers. It was this, whether he had an accent or not.
Yeah.
It was this exact same humor, often with the exact same jokes, like the Love Guru.
That's one of the things. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They had such similar tones that
Yeah.
it's hard to separate. I even the sequels to Austin Powers, I'm like, wow, they're recycling these jokes.
Right,
like
right,
crazy.
right.
I got over it pretty quick, but it was still successful. But yeah, he's kind of ran out of steam after that. All right. Let's do the clips, and then Casey will play that thing that you queued up.
Okay, cool.
So in Dinner Party Diaries with Jose Andres, celebrities are welcomed into the kitchen to cook and share uplifting stories. And in this clip, the celebrity chef reveals his favorite guest of the series.
Jamie Lee Curtis was the most fascinating guest I could have for a show like this because she was like, move away, I'm taking over. She just won an Oscar when we were shooting. Hey, I'm the chef. No, she was the chef.
Hold it. Damn it. The clip just went away. What do I do? Hold it. Wait.
Shut up, dummy.
Dinner Party Diaries with Jose Andres is streaming today on Prime Video.
Did you like your steak?
Here's our next clip. When the discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force, Ghostbusters new and old join forces to save the world from a second ice age in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. In this clip, Paul Rudd talks about acting with the original cast.
It's impossible not to geek out. I mean, Ghostbusters is such a huge part of our lives and the culture. And then to get to work with the OGs and see them in their suits and their proton packs, it's incredible.
I'm scared.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire opens this Friday, by the way. I'm
I'll tell you,
interested.
and they all
Looks
seem
good.
to be into it. So Bill Murray, Fallon did his thing where the Roots, they all played kids instruments, and and sitting right there, Ernie Hudson and Bill Murray, singing along.
Yeah, they're all in on the whole thing, so should be pretty cool. Oh, by the way, Marissa grabbed one of Richard Simmons' songs.
All right,
because we had said he's been posting music, so we haven't heard this. Let's listen. This is called
Speeding Train.
Speeding Train.
Speeding Train.
Going nowhere. Going nowhere.
Wow. Okay.
We used to care for each other. Now we just put up with each other.
He can actually sing.
That's not bad.
Wow.
And look how we ended up. No more passion. We're out of love.
Very kind of Broadway-esque.
Very Broadway, no doubt.
Might as well tie me to the tracks and leave me there just like the Ripper Jack. Shut the f*** up! You were always my conductor. Now you're just a life sucker.
Life sucker.
Where did we go wrong? Why did we jump the tracks? I try to remember the good times. They were so long ago. No more putting up with your ego. Just release me.
I mean, it's not really my style, but that's
good.
That's good.
Better than I thought it
That's
would be.
way better than
And
I
it's
thought it would
him.
be.
Like
It's
it's
him.
Of course. What did you expect?
It's him being dramatic.
Yeah, Springsteen.
Dude, I was at I went to years ago, went to this thing called Morning Show Boot Camp. Oh, yeah. And I was standing outside and with a couple of other people, and this limo rolls up, the back door opens, and Richard Simmons steps out, and he just goes, and it wasn't like a formal gathering. He was just getting out to get to his hotel, and he goes, "Hey, radio people!"
Oh my God. Yes.
You know where
he was like a
great.
featured speaker or something.
when it became clear that he got exactly what he was doing, well, like on Whose Line Is It? Excuse me, Whose Line Is It Anyway? When he was wholly making fun of himself.
Yes.
It was terrific.
Absolutely. Well, that's cool. Well, good for him,
Yeah,
man. I hope he resurfaces. That'd be great. All right, we are going to not surface right now. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and then we will bubble above the surface, and we will have a good time on this Tuesday morning together. So stay with us, please. We'll be back in just a moment.
Preston 93.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Kath. Casey's got a story from the world of Foster from his home to share with it, and a potential topic to discuss.
Yeah, it was a big day in the Foster household yesterday. Busy day yesterday. I picked my son up from school, and I took him to the orthodontist to have his braces removed.
So there you go. That's the home run moment, right?
It is. All three of my children had braces, and he was the last to get them off. And I think he was the toughest one of the three.
Did he react to them the worst when he got them?
No. Nobody reacted bad to them. But I think my daughters were more fastidious with the upkeep and putting the rubber bands in. When I had braces, I didn't have to put rubber bands in or anything like that. But eventually, I think he got tired of it, and that caused him to really start to hunker down. Okay, I'll do it because I just want these things off, right? So he started listening closer to the orthodontist and sticking to the regimen. Wanted them off. I mean, he's a junior in high school. And
How many years with them on?
Oh, geez, longer than I think they should have. But I mean, his teeth look great.
Oh, good.
And so I don't. With a teenager, you don't know if they're listening to you or if they're tuning you out or whatever. But so I wanted to offer a piece of advice to today's youth, and and I'm sure their parents tell them the same thing
to the youths.
And if you're not going to listen to your parents, listen to Uncle Casey. Okay, it's a simple message. Wear your retainer.
Wear your retainer.
Wear your retainer. I'm going to do this for our YouTube audience, all right? Because I had braces. I had them put on in 8th grade. I got them off my sophomore year of high school, and I never wore my retainer. And this, if you want to describe it, Preston, to our listening audience, this is the result of not wearing your retainer.
All right, Casey's pulling down his bottom lip. And he's got a big old snaggletooth on the bottom. It stands out all by itself in front of the line of the other teeth.
I never knew you had that.
Yeah.
A lot
I
of
see
people.
it every time, Kathy. Every time it pops itself up in a video, I'm like, oh, you should have worn your retainer.
So a lot of people don't do that, right? And
dude. Yes. Okay. You're talking to somebody who's done it with 3 kids as well.
Yeah.
2 of them did not wear their retainers.
And so what happened?
I've decided that I can predict the future.
Yeah.
Because I knew this was going to happen.
Right.
I knew it was going to happen. And I try, as a parent, you can only do so much to remind them to do what they need to do. There was another moment where I think I could tell the future. And that's when they brought 2 dogs to the house, 2 new puppies for us to have. And I said, okay.
And they were going to take care of them?
If you make sure you walk the dogs, everybody, do we all agree on this?
Right, yeah.
Yes.
We all agree on this. You walk the dogs, we can have the dogs, okay? And in my mind, I knew, guess who walks the dogs?
Yeah, you do.
Me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who does it. The only time anybody else does it is when I tell them to do it. All right, so anyway, besides all of that, I wholeheartedly agree. And what we wanted to turn this into was a small piece of advice that and there's a line from a Billy Joel song where he says, listen, boys, good information from a man who's made mistakes. Someone like yourself, Casey, who made the mistake, sharing that information, don't do the same thing I did. A small piece of advice. Doesn't have to be life-changing advice, but here's a little nugget for you.
And it's not coming from your parent.
And it's not coming from your parent.
It's coming from a stupid show you're listening to.
And we would like to know what you would like to add to that. 215-263-WMMR. I have a little piece of advice I will offer you as well in just a second here.
So just yesterday, I got the first dose of oh my God, he didn't listen to, what I said, to the advice that I had given him. This was just yesterday. So when Casey said this on the call last night, I was like, oh my God. So they can choose in middle school which language they want to take. And Jace had the choice between Latin, French, and Spanish. And over and over and over again, I said, you're going to get the most out of learning Spanish.
Exactly.
It is our second language.
Yep.
There are a lot of people in this country that speak Spanish. Maybe you could be bilingual someday. Spanish is the way to go. He comes home and he goes, I pick French.
Oh,
and I was like, All right. Well,
Okay.
And I can't help you with French because I don't speak a word of it.
Right.
I could help you a little bit with Spanish. I
Right.
know some Spanish, but
Well, that's
you're on your
rebellion.
own, buddy.
I pick French too in school because Etienne sounded good. That's my name.
Well, the hot chicks take French too.
Yeah, no, but I mean, but you're right. Technically, you're right.
But it was just
but
like-
these are little things like it's like. I think it falls under the category of that's what the parents are going to tell you. That's what they say all the time. It's like, not really. It's really kind of good for you if you do this, like with the retainer, what you won't have to put up with. But the reason, like a non-subjective point of view, someone who does not know you is saying, I've gone through it, and it turns out what they're saying is right.
Yeah, I do have a question though about the retainer. Is it something that you have to wear for like ever and ever, or do you
think
wear them
so.
for a certain amount of time
Well-
and then your teeth are locked into place?
Valerie works for an orthodontist.
Oh, good.
So we'll go to her, and then we'll come back with some more. It doesn't have to be all about teeth, but different advice, little nuggets of advice that you highly recommend for the youth of today. Valerie, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so you want to second Casey's urging to wear your retainer.
And then I can give a piece of advice, too.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Retainers are a lifelong thing.
It is a lifelong thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Your teeth can move at any point in your life. So honestly, we stress to our kids so much, wear your retainer. Your teeth will move, and then when you're an adult, you're going to have to pay for braces all over again, and they're very expensive. So you can alternate. Some people can alternate the top retainer one night, the lower retainer the next. After you've had your braces off for a few years, but. Yeah, they're for life.
Valerie, I can offer an alternative piece of advice, which is have a substandard dentist as a child, and then you don't have to worry about that forever.
Yeah.
Because your bad Irish teeth will be so irrevocably effed up that it won't matter.
What was your piece of advice you wanted to offer besides the retainer?
Go to class in college.
Oh my God, yes.
Just go to class.
Go to class.
Just go.
Yeah, that's a really, really
There might be
good
somebody
advice.
else here who could give that advice.
That is
There's two of us who can do
excellent
that.
advice, Valerie. Also, real quick, why is it an
you,
orthodontist and not an orthodontist?
Well, dentists they go to school for, cleaning, restorations, cleaning teeth, doing implants.
No, I mean the
He's
name.
saying
name.
why the actual name is dentist and dentist.
Yeah, why do you not say orthodontist?
And why is it a donkey and not a
I think
denki?
orthodontist sounds cooler.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I think it was like
decided
a
it sounded cool.
I don't know.
stoner
All right,
surfer
thank you.
guy who was who came. He was like orthodontist, man.
My mom.
My dad's a dentist.
My mom stopped wearing her retainer when she was a kid, when she was a teenager, and she's in her 70s now, and she did Invisalign because Steve, to your point earlier, this gap in between her front middle teeth grew, and so now she wanted to fix it, and she did Invisalign. But had she worn her retainer her
She'd
whole
be
life,
fine.
she wouldn't have had to do that.
All right, I'll give you a little piece of advice.
All right.
And this is mainly for guys. This is for teenagers, young guys. Listen, when it comes to fashion sense, listen to the women in your life.
Simple as that.
They know better. Especially if you're heterosexual and you're interested in attracting another woman, listen to the women when it comes to fashion advice. They know what they would like to see on.
Were
a
you
man.
proffered fashion advice that you
Oh no,
passed on?
I was no. I was just terrible at it.
Yeah.
I tried it. I went out on my own.
Right.
And eventually, I kind of figured out where my lane was and stopped trying to be something I wasn't.
Right.
And
It makes a difference.
and kept things a little more simple. And
Well, and also we dress you the way we would like to see you.
Exactly.
It's really
That's what I mean.
what we like.
Yeah.
yeah.
And also, a little footnote to that: just because it's trendy and stylish doesn't mean that it looks good on you.
Thank you.
It does not look
You're
good
right.
on everyone.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
Listen, for some people, shorts in the winter is a perfect expression of who you are.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anybody in particular, but
Just
for
people
me,
who wear shorts.
people who perhaps in absurd temperatures wear shorts.
All right, little nugget of advice. We'll go to Lou on the line here. Hi, Lou, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey!
There he is.
Been away from a while.
Have not heard from Lou in a while.
Welcome back from Florida.
Thank you. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, so you have some advice, Lou?
Yes, I do.
All right.
It's when you're walking anywhere, whether it's in a crowd or never let anyone get your attention. Never say, don't stop you don't have a match. You don't have time. You don't have do never walk like you have a purpose. Never let anyone in your circle.
Okay, I understand you on a level, which is don't be distracted by people who may have nefarious intent.
Yeah,
so
don't be victimized.
if you walk with purpose, you are going to be less likely made a mark. Am I correctly stating that?
That's correct, Steve.
Okay. All right. I believe that. You're not saying be immune to the world around you and be antisocial, but project confidence and you will be less likely to be made a mark.
That's it.
The hard part about that, Lou, is if, say, you're on vacation and you're a tourist, and tourists get victimized without question. They get targeted, and you are legitimately just enjoying your sights around you. That's what you're
Don't
there
act
for.
like you're enjoying it.
Just act
I
like
hate
you're-
this place. This place stinks.
The Parthenon?
I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
My kids repeat it back to me all the time. I'm in their head.
Yeah.
When they're walking in a crowd.
Okay.
They hear my voice. And that is what I want because I've been in the world. And when people come up, hey, you got a light? You got a match?
Yeah.
Sure. Now they got you.
Yeah, your wallet's gone.
Lou, would you recommend smearing fake blood on your face when you're walking around? Just people are likely to leave you alone, right?
Yeah.
All right.
It's funny. I put my headphones in a lot, and that kind of keeps me focused. And if somebody is saying something to me, I don't hear them.
I'm sorry, I'm deaf.
Yeah.
If they come up to attack from behind, you
Lou,
can't hear them.
thanks for the advice, brother.
All right, you got it.
It's almost golf
Losing
weather.
it.
We're heading
Yeah.
out. We'll see you soon.
Wait.
Later, bud.
We're going to be playing golf, Preston.
Absolute, buddy. We'll see you. See ya. All right.
As Lou was talking, I was just thinking of advice from my parents, and I'm like, most of it, I'm like, God, they were insane.
Well, your mom has been known to have some creative ways to approach life. We're talking about your adopted mother, not Janis Joplin.
Right.
Yeah. No, what was the best? What was the best? Again, it's one of those things that falls in that. How many times are parents going to tell their kids wear your retainer and they just don't?
I didn't really listen to my parents until I was in my 20s.
Right.
I occasionally listened to my mom, but my dad and I had a fairly contentious relationship in my late teens and early 20s. And so it took until I was mature enough to understand he had my best interests at heart. When I was a teenager, and Casey, I think this probably goes with you and Seamus, I didn't want to listen to a damn word they had to say. I just wanted to be with my own friends, and Steve kind of figure it out on my own. I wish I'd listened to my parents more back then.
I wonder, statistically, in the broad scheme of how many, isn't that part of the rite of passage is to ignore the advice you're given in life so that you can painfully learn it yourself?
That's true. There was a text that was up a moment ago, Nick, that said somebody had, their father told them to always have a blanket in their car.
Here we go.
It says, when I was
in case you
17
meet a loose chick.
years old, my dad told me to keep a blanket in my car, and if I ever felt like I was too impaired after a high school party to sleep in the car, that saved me from countless DUIs.
Where others
kids felt pressure to go home. Okay, I was probably pre-Uber days.
Yeah,
which now and that's another thing. Get a ride. Yeah. You can now, the availability of rides are unbelievably convenient.
The advice that's timeless is if you're ever in trouble, call me. It doesn't matter how bad things are, what you need. If you've been drinking, don't get behind the wheel. Call your parents. One of us will come get you.
You know what the downside of that is? I've probably been drinking. And they call me, and I'm like,
I'm with the
I can't come
hooker.
get you. I'm drunk right now.
I'm with the prostitute. That goes all the way back. On the weekend, there was a Leave It to Beaver episode with that same thing about convincing the kids, just tell us. If you're in trouble, tell us. It's better than not.
All right, here's little pieces of advice. We're going to go to Josh next. Hi, Josh. Good morning. All right. Josh, what is your bit of advice to offer?
Don't quit your instrument. I started piano when I was 7 years old, took it all the way up till I was about 14, 15, and I lost interest. My uncles, my mom, everybody said, don't quit. It's something you can do at a party. It's the coolest thing. And now I'm 32, and I hate myself for it.
Yeah, no, I completely hear that. Now, mind you,
Josh,
I don't
you're
wanna
only
bring-
32. You can pick it up
Still?
again. Yeah.
But he feels bad.
Actually, my First lesson is on Thursday.
You're not going to be good at it.
No, you know what? You won't be.
Like,
Don't be discouraged by not being good at it. You're going to suck when you start playing it again. But that's the way you get better is by understanding that you can suck and improve with time. Practice will get you there. But Steve's absolutely right. You're going to be bad.
Yeah.
But don't be discouraged by the fact that you're bad.
Yeah, but I just always my mind just goes back to if I would have stuck with it at this point, I could do whatever.
I wish I had stuck. I wish I had learned an instrument fully. I mean, I was talking earlier. My father's mother, my grandmother, was very musically inclined and could play many instruments. And I wish I could play one instrument.
Yeah.
And that, yes, I would have loved to have done that.
And Josh, by the way, I just want to say that flush that thought of I wish I never stopped, because that might actually impede you and hold you back, right?
The better way is I wish I'd never started. Right.
Wish I never would have started that, so now I wouldn't regret the fact
Now
that
I have the
stopped
regrets.
that. Now I have to start over again. All right, let me go.
Why do I do things?
Let me go to Lucas. Hi, Lucas. Morning.
Good morning, Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, sir. All right, so what is your advice you want to pass along?
Assume good intentions. A lot of people, I think, especially I'm 24, so I think a lot of people in my generation are really, really anxious that everybody hates them all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, something that I've found that's really helped me mentally is to assume that people are okay with me until they directly tell me that they're not. And of course, like, you can pick up on social cues and stuff. If somebody is very clearly not okay with you, then obviously take the cue.
I think that also goes, and I think what you're saying is very important. Learn, and it's by no fault of a lot of the kids now. They're no fault of theirs. Learn social cues. Learn what and learn how to look someone in the eyes when you talk to them. Learn how to project. Learn how to be there and be present in a conversation.
Yeah, but Lucas, it's funny because I have all these in my Instagram feed, all these like inspirational things to tell your children. One of those things is exactly what you're talking about.
Assume good intentions.
Well, no, the fact that like. Don't worry about what people are thinking about you, because they're not thinking about you, right?
Yeah.
They're worried about what you think about them.
That's that Ellen DeGeneres quote. People don't think about you as often as you think they think about you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what it's been for me. Like, when I'm passing by somebody down the street, I see their outfit and I move on. And that's pretty much it most of the time. Like, I'm not passing these judgments thinking that everybody hates me. So if I'm not passing these judgments, then why would I assume that somebody else is?
Yeah. All right, that's good. Sage advice.
Thank you, Lucas. Appreciate it. If you're just tuning in, Casey's advice to his son, Seamus, who just got his braces off, is wear your retainer. A little bit of advice that you can pass along.
Did you ever get financial advice when you were younger you wish you'd stuck with?
Yes.
Yeah,
From my dad.
I just didn't understand it. Same thing. My dad introduced me to, mutual funds and things like that when I was like 19, 20 years old, along those lines, and it didn't really sink in, but I married someone who knew what they are doing.
That's the advice my dad never, he said, to marry someone who'll handle all your accounting, which is what Claire does, but I tried, and my dad was much better at it than was I, and so, I wish I had a better command of it. I didn't. And so when you're being told now, pay attention, learn how to manage your money, learn how to, a credit card or save your money. It really is important.
My wife just texted me. She says, and I trust her wholeheartedly when it comes to finances. She says, open a Roth IRA with your very first paycheck.
That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can
Start
get
as soon as you can.
tax-free down the road.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, when I went on my first Grand Canyon trip, there was a guy that was on our trip. I just met him. I never knew this guy. He was in his early 50s and he was retired. And I just, for the first part of the trip, I just thought he was like a hedge fund, guy or whatever. No, he was a roofer. He went to work like at 18 years old, right after graduation, and just invested his money early and wisely. And his money made money for him.
If you find out how to have your money work for you, you've nailed it.
Yep.
Also, don't rack up credit card debt. It can be crippling, and if you can avoid it, and I know a lot of people find that they need to live a life a certain way, but credit card debt really can hamper your lifestyle later on.
I fell in that trap briefly when I had what I thought was no option because I was trying to get a business going, and it's a quagmire.
All right, I'm going to go to Megan next with a little piece of advice. Megan, good morning.
Yeah.
Oh, here it comes. What's up, Megan?
Hi, guys. So my father was kind of an old-fashioned guy. Like, I'm like my parents had me at 35. So they had a lot of like older advice than like the new stuff. Like they didn't quite get computers and stuff like that.
Right. Always respect the Pony Express.
Right. So my father said, you need to carry cash. You need to at least carry $20 on you at all times and cash. And I got a card when I started driving. So I was like, why? Everywhere takes a card. He said, no, they don't. No, they don't. You need cash. And I did desperately need cash. I needed to get into a cab, and they were like, okay, $14. And I was like, okay, I have a card. And they're like, you need cash.
Yeah. I've done that all my life. I have cash on me right now. Preston, I know you do as well, right?
Yeah,
you carry cash.
My mom and dad both. You should always have some walking around money because not only to pay for something like that, but you might need to bribe somebody.
Yeah.
Something.
You didn't see
That's
this.
why they don't take Venmo or credit card sometimes when you need to throw somebody a seat, $20 or something.
20 at least.
And to that point, I actually I got a nickname in college as like the group dad. Not even the mom, the dad.
That's funny.
Because when people were traveling, I was like, do you have any cash on you? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, here's $20. If you don't use it, you can give it back to me. They never gave it back to me. They always needed it.
That pairs actually, Megan, with another thing. Always have ID on you.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Always have ID on you.
Yeah.
When I go, sometimes I'll be with people and I don't have any ID on. How do you? Oh,
yeah.
Always.
No, I go for long bike rides, and I always make sure that I have an ID on me and I have cash on me. And my cousin was telling, because he's a big time cyclist, like you might need a cash to buy something, like if you run out of water or Gatorade or whatever, but also if you get a hole in your tire, sometimes you fold up that money and you put it into the hole of the actual tire. Yeah.
All right, let me go to Vanessa. Hi there, Vanessa.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, what's up, Vanessa?
Hey, so my little piece of advice, like a lot of my friends, I'm 30, are totally in debt, not doing what they said they wanted to do in college, and I chose to be a nanny in New Zealand when I was 18. I was an au pair, and I feel like it changed my life, like traveling when I had an opportunity to travel and not have a ton of debt and responsibility. And I came back, and now I'm a teacher, and I went back to college and everything. I just feel like not too many people do that, and I wish more people did. That's what I always tell people.
Travel, you're exactly right. So my father, and he had recorded a whole bunch of stuff about life observations before he passed away. And the thing that he really emphasized right at the wrap-up of the 7 hours of audio that he recorded is travel.
Yeah.
Travel.
Yeah.
And do it as often as you can. If
Live while you're young.
Yeah,
and while you're young, you really have like this open mind and you meet all these people. And I feel like that influenced my journey instead of just going to college for something I didn't even want to do, wasting all my money and being in debt, not doing what I want to do.
The last thing you want to do is hear like a cool story about how your friend stayed at the Equinox Lodge.
Yeah.
And
hey, but here's the text that says, I got this advice yesterday, actually. Don't stay at a Days Inn in Florida. Thank you, Vanessa. Appreciate it. Let's see. We've had Nick on hold for a while, so let me go to him. Hi, Nick. Good morning, bud.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, what's your advice, my man?
So, college isn't the only answer. There's trade schools. There's other options out there. So, leaving high school, don't think you have to go to college or you're going to fail.
No, that's absolutely right.
And Nick, listen, I have a junior and a senior in high school right now, and so all of their friends are either going like
trade.
No, they already know where they're going to college, and so then the next one, well, what's your major? What are you going to be? And I tell these guys this all the time. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. Like, God bless you. If you're 16 or 17 years old and you know what you want to do for the rest of your life, that's great. But don't let people pressure you into having an answer as to what you're going to do for the next 60 years. You don't have to have that answer right now, but have a direction.
I was told out of high school, if you went to trade school, you're either dumb or a bad person.
Oh, yeah.
Socialize.
Exact thing. We used to have that.
I did.
Go ahead.
I did college. I have an associate's in business administration, and I was miserable. Got laid off one day, got into the trades. The best thing ever happened to me.
Listen,
I make more money than I thought I would do in management.
There was a trade school that was adjacent to my high school, and I always noticed that the kids that were going there were more focused, seemed to know what they wanted. Now I always knew I wanted to do something comedy based, and that was always part of the deal. But I mean, they could walk right out of there and start working. And it was an amazing thing. So, yeah, I agree. Don't just assume that you have to incinerate cash to get a degree you don't want.
Right.
Right. If you want to be a doctor, you have to go
Yes.
to school. But if you don't know, go to the community college, take a couple courses, the engineering courses. They're going to point in the right direction.
Follow your passion. See what and hopefully your passion is one that can be
dance.
profitable and dance. No, but my dad gave me advice through the years, and a lot of it I didn't listen to it. But the one that settled in with me was whatever you do for a living, make sure it's something you enjoy.
Right.
Make sure you really like it, because my dad hated his job. And he would come home after a crappy day of work. And
He was an accountant?
yeah, he was an
He's
accountant.
an accountant, yeah.
And he was successful at it.
Yeah.
But I could tell it was the grind.
Yeah.
It was just the grind, and eventually you resent that.
Yes.
You hate it. So hopefully you can find something you actually like. And if you can't, cope as best you can, I guess.
Narcotics.
No, then there's always
Yeah.
narcotics. Speaking of that, let me go to, I just hung up on him.
Damn it.
Hang on a second. It was Steve, and he wanted to say this. Dad always told him not to carry booze or drugs for someone else.
Yes.
And apparently he did.
Sage advice.
And he got in trouble, so I apologize. I apologize. Because I just hung up on you.
Don't be a mule.
Don't be a drug mule.
Never be a drug.
I'd like to apologize.
Yeah.
There's probably good money in it, though.
Let me go to Shed next. Hey, Shed, you're on the air. Is your name Shed? SHED? Buy into your 401k?
Do you own a shed?
Okay.
Doesn't sound like anyone's there.
I don't think the guy's name is Shed, but anyhow.
Maybe it's an actual shed.
That's an unfortunate.
A sentient shed.
This is a shed where you store things.
You can live in the world of the humans if you are a thinking shed.
He was saying to buy into your 401k.
Okay, yes.
Never pass up if your job offers a 401k, and especially if they match it, if they do the matching donations.
And to that point, if someone offers you the opportunity to bust some drugs out of South America,
yes,
do it.
It can make you a lot of money.
Yes.
All you have those balloons do not dissolve in your stomach acid if the fly is short enough.
All right, I'm going to go to Peter. He's been on hold for a while. I wasn't sure if he's quoting the song or not, but we'll go to Peter. Hi, Peter. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to see you.
Good morning, bud. What's up?
So I was actually quoting the song, although I do believe in wearing sunscreen. I did want to tell everybody to listen to that song because it is beautiful.
Yes.
It's like a commencement speech, and it's full of the best advice I've ever heard.
It is a great song. It's Baz Luhrmann, yeah?
Yeah, and so Peter, I listened to that song, I want to say about a year ago, and we played it on Y100 when it first came out, and it didn't hit me the way it did 20 years later.
What is the title of that song?
Wear
Sunscreen.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Nope. That's the first line in it. Marissa, what's it called? I've forgotten.
I had to look it up. It's called Everybody's Free.
Everybody's Free.
Oh.
We should play that because it is...
It's great.
It's another one like that, Case? The Leanne Womack song? Same sort of like general life advice.
Yeah.
And dance, I think, is one of the refrains, but it's a similar sort of...
Dance is one of the refrains.
Right, and I dispensed it, and then I listened to it, and I went, wait a second. She's kind of right.
Yeah.
I think it's called Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen.
Everybody's free to wear sunscreen. Okay.
I have advice to Baz Luhrmann. Pick a title.
Yeah, right? No, Peter, you're right. That is a great source of little pieces of sage advice.
It is.
And it's worth listening to.
Yeah, one of the ones I really like, I'll keep it short, but it's forget the insults and remember the compliments.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so hard to do, but
It is.
like holding grudges does not help you.
Continue to remind yourself of that,
I'm going to have a brain fart. Is it?
Thanks, Pete.
Desiderata, go placidly amidst the noise and ways. That.
Is it a poem?
God Almighty! It is. It's basically.
Was it in a song? Or?
No, it's a poem that was made into a song.
Oh,
yeah. Got him. I'm going to look for it right now.
Okay. I will go next to.
No advice to myself. Be smarter.
Let me go to Marty. Hi, Marty. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Great show.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
So, number one is I'm retired law enforcement. Number one, stay alert. So many kids and people just wander through life, all the and work on their mind, preoccupied, and they go on their phone. I see people walk across the street with their head down on their phone.
Yeah.
And then they wonder when they get hit or they get mugged.
Oh, we're losing a little bit, but yes, stay alert is a great piece of advice. That's what my mother would have. My mother was big on security and being aware of your surroundings. And
they wander through life and they don't understand why when something happens. Well, why did that happen to me?
Right.
Well, let's see. What were you doing?
Right.
The other thing is love yourself. Don't think that just because
Try to do that every night.
Yeah. But I'm just, good advice my grandmother gave me a long time ago. She said, Jesus wasn't liked everywhere he went.
Right.
Love yourself. Know that you're right. You're just because the world around you may not be right where you're at, that might not be your environment. Love yourself. Be smart. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth.
No.
Listen more than you talk.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. And yeah.
Thanks, Marty.
It does. That's something. It is desiderata. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And it goes, I won't read the whole thing, but go placidly amidst the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. There will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. I mean, it goes on, but it's really
well. It's like a long list of good advice.
That. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was written by Ron Palillo. No,
wow. Horseshack.
That's amazing. Wow. I didn't realize he was so...
I guess, and now we're getting into philosophical things, which be...
a little more impactful than wear your retainer.
Right. Well, I guess so, but, be in the moment if you can.
Yeah.
A lot of people
wearing your retainer.
Let the moment get by, and you have... things that are happening around you and you're looking at your phone.
Well, the philosophy of wearing your retainer is, plan now, do something now to take care of yourself for later. And all of this can be applied to most of the things we're talking about. The 401k is planning your, wearing your retainer when you get a paycheck. Not getting credit card debt is wearing your retainer and being financially responsible.
Play the long game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's something that, you're exactly right. And Nick, there are countless times in my life where I did not play the long game and ended up paying for it.
Retainer.
We used to have that clip.
Did we?
Yeah.
Let me find
I isolated that. I forgot about that. All right. Let me see. Here's financial advice. Let me go to Ryan. We got to wrap this up here in a second. Hey, Ryan, good morning.
What's up? You guys rock.
Thank you, man. All right, Ryan, you got a little piece of advice?
I got a great piece of advice. The number one tip, I have a credit class that's called I Teach Credit. What I teach people is use your credit card like a debit card for every single purchase possible. Just get into the habit of paying it to zero every 7 days.
Oh my God.
I don't care how much you spend. Every 7 days, pay that thing to zero. You'll never miss a payment. You'll never have your debt run away from you, and you can earn free travel to go see that world.
There you go. I love it.
If you can,
my sister had this bizarre misconception that she needed to keep like some money in debt for the credit card, or they would cancel the card or something like that. And she'd lived under this misconception, which I didn't know about, apparently for decades.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you out of your mind? Pay it.
And you know what happens? People will okay, this credit card is becoming a little difficult. Oh, I'm going to open up another credit card. And so, and then they're before you know it, they're in this pit. What is the average amount of credit card debt being held by the average American these days? It's ridiculous.
This could be a whole other conversation about credit cards, and I don't remember if it was someone in this room or not, but somebody recently told me that you shouldn't close out a credit card. Like if you have a credit card that you're not using anymore, just leave it. You shouldn't close it out, that affects your credit.
I don't know.
I was like, I don't like that. I don't want that under, like, do you know what I mean? I don't want that under my name if I'm not using it. Why would I not close it?
All right, and here's my piece of advice on top of that, what Kathy just said. If you hear something in hearsay that somebody says like that, check and see if it's legit or not. Don't go passing it around. I heard blah, blah, blah.
Do your own checking.
Listen, I'm guilty of that. I'm totally guilty of that.
Deers don't have sphincters.
Yeah.
I heard that one time and made an ass out of myself.
And
hey,
listen, we've all done that.
Maurice, can we post this on social media so that people can cool.
Add to it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because there's obviously a lot. We're just scratching the surface. But it all boils down to
retainers.
Wear your retainer. Retainer.
Retainer.
So, well, I wish you luck, sir, in your kids. Oh, wait, Marissa has advice.
Well, I was going to say, if you're ever listening to the Preston and Steve show and hear something great and you missed it, go to PrestonandSteve.com and you can find it on YouTube, on podcasts. We put it out there all the time. We do all this work for you guys to make your days better.
There you go. That's
There you
your
go.
advice. All right. Very good. Thank you for the calls. We appreciate it. And contribute via our social media. Like, Casey and Marissa said, we'll post something a little bit later on about that. But thank you. We do appreciate the calls. We'll come back in a second. And Bizarre Files. Another thing. Learn from the Bizarre Files what not to do in life. We'll come back with those in a moment. That was a thing.
33 WMMR.
Before we do the Bizarre File, though, Casey has a quick shout out to do.
I want to do a shout out, and I also want to dedicate this Bizarre File to a young lady that I met yesterday. I had an event at Rita's Water Ice on Sproul Road in Broomall, and this young lady and her mother came by from Millmont Park. And her name is Lauren. She drew us this little Preston and Steve logo.
awesome.
She's in third grade.
Wow, that's impressive.
At Grace Park Elementary School.
Yeah.
And so Lauren, and the reason I wanted to dedicate the Bizarre File to her is that she had a bunch of questions she wanted to ask me. And the first one was about the Bizarre File. She wanted to know where you got all the Bizarre File stories.
I dig around through many sources online. There's a website called fark.com. I go through Bing's search engine and I just, peruse things like Huffington Post and CNN and all the news sites and find the weird stories.
So Lauren was awesome. She was so cute and she was such a bright, piece of like joy and energy and yesterday the weather wasn't the best.
No.
She came by and her mom is beautiful, by the way. Looks exactly like Julianne Moore.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I want to give a nice big juicy shout out to Lauren.
Okay. Is she the one that asked you something, or are you not going to?
Oh yeah. Oh, so she's going to be Lauren is going to be my future goddaughter. That was the second question after the Bizarre File question.
Okay.
She said, when my godfather dies,
Will you step in?
Will you be my godfather? And I said, absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's adorable. All right. Let's do the B file.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Horizon Services. You can get your system checked today and even get $50 off any repair at horizonservices.com/WMMR. A woman and her vehicle ended up in the Pacific Ocean after a wild pursuit through Los Angeles. In the aftermath of the chase was caught on video. Footage shows the silver SUV that the woman was driving completely submerged in the water near the Venice fishing pier.
I was just trying to drive to Hawaii.
The force of the waves eventually washed the vehicle to shore and knocked it on its side.
It's crazy to see the video.
Yeah, she was seen swimming a fair distance away from where the vehicle ended up.
I screwed up.
But a Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department boat quickly located her. Video shows deputies tossing a flotation device toward her before hoisting her out of the water with a net and taking her into custody.
Like a fish.
Like a fish.
Like a stinking fish.
Throughout the entire ordeal, a large crowd had gathered on the pier and the beach to watch the chaos unfold. Several of them were seen running down the pier when the suspect was spotted in the water. For a better view, video shows...
Not to help, just for a better view.
Get out of the way.
Yeah,
I got
I'm
to
trying to watch this.
Video shows the woman treading water as onlookers shouted words of encouragement towards her.
Moron!
A dog was also said to be in the car. Video shows the dog scampering around the beach parking lot before being comforted by several people at the
Does
scene.
anyone want to adopt me?
With a towel. What the woman was wanted for and where the pursuit started were not immediately known, so maybe we'll get a follow-up from that. A man whose 11-foot, 750-pound pet alligator was removed by conservation officials from his home in upstate New York this week and has vowed to regain custody of his beloved pet.
And return it to the wild in upstate New York.
Tony Cavallaro of Hamburg, New York, had added an in-ground swimming pool to allow his gator Albert to swim and cool off while he illegally kept him in his backyard. The gator is about 30 years old, is blind in both eyes, and has spinal issues. The agency alleged that Cavallaro allowed members of the public to get into the water to pet the unsecured alligator.
How wonderful.
He previously had a permit to keep the gator, but did not renew it after it expired in 2021. The lack of a permit, the access given to visitors, and the alligator's health caused the DEC to remove Albert in the interest of the public safety and the health, safety, and protection of the alligator. He told local media that he ran an errand on Wednesday morning and returned home to discover officers at his home with a warrant to remove the gator.
It's about my gator, isn't it?
The DEC said it turned Albert over to licensed caretaker who will care for him and until he can be transported elsewhere for proper care.
Daddy, where are they taking me?
Evidence seized while removing Albert and potential evidence provided by a veterinarian will determine if the state will file charges against him. Cavallero said in an online petition he's seeking to regain Albert, that he was treated like a terrorist when officers removed him and hauled him away in a truck. He claimed that he owned Albert for more than 30 years and normally renewed his permit for the alligator months before its expiration date, but revised regulations and failure of the DEC to return his phone calls seeking answers to questions regarding them led to the permit's expiration in 2021.
Does it say what age the alligator was when he got him?
No, that's a good question. It says the alligator is about 30 years old.
Okay,
so I guess he had it since it was a baby then.
Yeah, all right.
So he's
You
had it
think
for a long
so?
time. Those things can live
A long
sometimes
time.
like 80 years or more. So
I mean, I saw video footage of this guy with this alligator, and he was treating it like a puppy.
Yeah.
You know? And the alligator was acting like a puppy.
A second man, as a follow-up, has been charged in connection with the 2005 theft of a pair of ruby slippers that Judy Garland wore in The Wizard of Oz, according to an indictment made public on Sunday.
The cops are surrounding him. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Jerry Saliterman, 76 years old, Minnesota, was charged with theft of a major artwork and witness tampering. He did not enter a plea. The slippers were stolen from the Judy Garland Museum in the late actor's hometown of Grand Rapids, Minnesota, nearly 20 years ago, and their whereabouts remained a mystery until the FBI recovered them in 2018. The indictment says that from August 2005 to July 2018, Saliterman received, concealed, and disposed of the ruby slippers. The indictment says Saliterman knew that they were stolen and that he threatened to release a sex tape of a woman and, quote, take her down with him if she didn't keep her mouth shut about the slippers.
Can you believe there's witness tampering in the ruby slippers case?
Saliterman was in a wheelchair and on supplemental oxygen during his court appearance. His oxygen machine hummed throughout the hearing, and he bounced his knee nervously during breaks in the proceedings. He responded with yes when the judge asked whether he understood the charges against him, but said nothing about the allegation. So the case was not openly discussed in court. The magistrate ordered Friday that the indictment be unsealed, but it not become publicly available until Sunday. The man who stole the slippers, who I had reported on a while back, Terry John Martin, pleaded guilty in October to the theft, admitting that he used a hammer to smash the glass of the museum's door and display case in what his attorney said was an attempt to pull off one last score after turning away a life from crime. You remember?
I do.
He thought that the rubies were actual jewels.
Mm-hmm.
They're just sequins.
Come on.
Did they say what they would be worth? Like on the open
$1 million
market?
insured.
Okay.
Yeah. So, actually, no, that's what they told him. That's what his connections to the mob told him the shoes had been adorned with real jewels to justify their $1 million insured value. So I guess maybe the $1 million insured value was legit, but it's because it's an artifact.
Yes.
They're an artifact.
Yeah.
That's why.
not
It's
real
not the rubies.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Sure would be a shame if you never got back to Oz.
Let's see what ends up happening with this guy. And then we'll do one more theft story and then we'll wrap it up. A UK thief received 2 years in jail because the hole he made wasn't big enough. The theft occurred at the Royal Lancers and Nottinghamshire Yeomanry Museum. Graham Gallum was accused of cutting a hole in the floor of the museum and making off with antiques. Police suspect that he never entered the museum and instead grabbed the objects in the museum using a tool and a camera. Pretty ingenious, actually. Yeah. However, he had to leave behind a chalice that was too big to fit into the hole, and the artifact apparently contained his DNA somehow or another. Unfortunately, some of the stolen objects have yet to be recovered. Police are still investigating possible accomplices in that. By the way, I love that term yeomanry.
Yeah.
It is the Royal Lancers and Nottinghamshire Yeomanry.
That's right, exactly.
Yes. So he got busted.
There's an episode of The Crown this season where they have to go through all of these archaic royal this. There's the royal person who takes care of the swans.
Yes.
The royal person who does the yeoman stuff.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
But they're determining essentially whether or not any of these people have value because they're trying to trim costs.
That's funny,
within
yeah.
the royalty, yeah.
Right, to cut back.
What do you do again?
Yeah.
You know, they've got this title and Virtual gaze, Walden. All right, we are going to take a quick break. We'll come back in a moment and get into further discussion. But just a reminder, today is Tattoo Tuesday, so don't miss out on your chance to win a Preston and Steve Show themed tattoo from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. Text the word tattoo to 39333 and you might win. We'll be right back. Facts.
That's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Did you guys know that we have the potential for somebody to win $1 million? It's just, the Basketball Mayhem contest. It's sponsored by AAA, and if you fill out a perfect bracket for NCAA for the Basketball Mayhem contest, you can win $1 million. Now I know the odds are very, very slim.
Right?
Are the odds? They're not like lottery high, like 50 million to 1 or something like that, are they, for filling out a perfect bracket? I know it's very rare.
Well, I know for the NCAA's that like ESPN does one every year, and that the odds there are like $1 billion.
$1 billion?
Yeah, it's
like
insane.
$1 billion.
Nobody's ever done it, and I think that's why they offer up $1 billion or something crazy like that.
Wow.
No, I'm serious. Like their prize
is $1 billion.
I believe so. Yeah. Because nobody's ever done it, because it's virtually impossible.
Okay.
Yeah, what does it say up here?
Why is it so hard to pick a perfect bracket?
Yeah, your chances are 1 in 147 quintillion.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So that's why they can offer $1 billion safely.
All right, and that's the same odds for this thing that we're doing?
I don't know how many brackets there are.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Listen, things... they can happen, right? Think of all the crazy things that should have happened that happened.
Yeah, I mentioned AAA.
Okay, you did.
But you can join AAA and get the peace of mind that comes from having expert roadside assistance, by the way. But WMMR.com, go for that. I would like to do a little segment that we call Survey Says here on the Preston and Steve Show this morning because... we've got this list of survey stats that I think are worth sharing along with you, and a lot of them are really, really, really stupid.
Yeah. Yes, we love the stupid ones.
And there's nothing to do with them other than rattle through a bunch of them and see where we go. So I thought this would be kind of fun. In a survey of 35,878 U.S. adults, they were asked the question, do you know the first names of your current next-door neighbors?
Yes.
The first names of your current next door neighbors.
I do.
All of them?
The other side of me, after I dropped off a welcome plant and card, they never said anything to me.
I know.
I don't know their names.
I know one side. I don't know across the street, and I don't know the other side.
I don't know across the street. I know behind me and left and right. I don't know across the street.
Okay.
You know what I know? The houses that were built by our same builder, there's other builders around us, but the builder that built the 7 houses that I know all their names.
Okay.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
How about you, Nick?
I think I know the one side to the left. I don't know all the people's names to the right, and I finally figured out after living in the house for 6 or 7 years the woman's name across the street because I looked her up on Instagram. And because
you might as well.
Well, she is Steve. I don't want to say her name on air, but she has kind of an odd, exotic name.
Right.
And I ran into her while walking one point, and I was like, "How do I remember this lady's name?"
Yeah.
And so I did a little bit of cyber stalking, and I was like, "That's how I remember it."
So our neighbors on the one side, so if you're facing the street to the right, we learned their names early because their daughter calls them by their first names. Yeah,
really? That'll happen.
Yeah, which is kind of, and then they're our neighbors are fantastic.
Marissa, do you know your neighbors' first names?
Nope.
Not any of them.
Nope. Remember, I had that dog issue a few
the
years
yappy
ago?
dog. Yeah.
Yeah. The issue's back, and she.
Did you ever were you going to give her a gate?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
No, instead my other neighbor, whose name I don't know, who lives right across the hallway, who's the sweetest woman in the world, just knocked on the door and asked, like, hey, can you keep the dog away from the door?
All right.
So you should do that again.
But now it's back.
So is it okay to go to these people that you've lived next to you for a long time and say something like, hey, if you see him out,
You're going to have to move.
You're going to have to move. I don't know who you are.
I don't know your name.
No, to say, look, after all these years, I apologize. I don't know.
I think if you don't,
If you would approach it that way, I think they'd be completely fine.
and I think if you don't converse with them all of the time, like if I said to my neighbors, I don't know your name, it would be okay because I rarely see them. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with a few of them. Do you know what I mean? The ones, if I'm hanging out and speaking to them, over the years, and I still don't know their name, I don't think I would go to them and go, hey, by the way, I forget your name.
And then they'll say to you, Kathy, they'll say, oh, yeah, how's Dennis and Jace and we love every member of your family. Like, how do you know that?
In case you don't know do you know some of them?
Yeah, I just the neighbors to the one side. I don't know either of their names. But
You say you're very social, though.
Yeah, but they're Korean and they.
Keep to themselves?
No, they keep to themselves. There's a little bit of a language barrier. I mean, I picked the woman up. She drove her car off the road.
Put me down.
No. She crashed her car off the side of the road, and I gave her a ride home. Never got her name or anything like that.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
So the survey says 31% said yes, knows all of them. 42% said yes, some of them, and 21% said no, they don't know any of the first names of the people that live next to them.
Growing up as a kid, I knew everybody on the block.
Dude, Steve, I drove through my childhood neighborhood a few weeks ago, and I still remember all of those people's names. Like house to house, and they just. I don't know. I grew up in a great neighborhood, and I got to know a lot of the neighbors.
Nick, it was the Camises to the right of us. It was George and Nancy, and it was Anthony and Greg, and then to the right were the Foleys, and then the Sullivans, and I could do all the way to the end of the block.
Mr. Verdiani, who lived across the street from us, his first name was Vince, and Vince was a great guy, but he couldn't tell me and my brothers apart, so to him, we were all just Mac.
Yeah.
It was Mac, and Mac.
What do you want, Mac?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the entire street we knew growing up, which was a decent amount of people, but like, why today do we not know our neighbors?
I think there's less. Did we encounter our neighbors more back then, or maybe it's just the nature of the world, this workaday world we live in.
It's that bit with Sebastian Maniscalco when people come to the door and ring the doorbell.
Go hide.
You used to welcome them in, and oh my God, you came over, and then now it's like hide.
Oh,
hide behind the couch.
I don't even answer my door. I see it on the camera, and I just go, nope.
Dude,
don't know
my
who
dogs
you
are like Reggie will jump. Basically, his head goes to the top of the door jam. So we had an Amazon guy. He literally just chucked the box. Yeah. He didn't even make it up to the doorstep. He was like, I'm not getting that close. Chuck just texted us. He said, last summer, one of my neighbors admitted to me that he's never known my name and that he and his wife of 18 years just referred to him as the MMR guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, by the way, following up on that, in the same survey, if you needed to borrow something, how likely would you be to ask one of your next door neighbors for it?
Hey, buddy.
I also think that's like, I remember my mom always being like, oh my gosh, I'm out of sugar. Calling our neighbors across the street. Hey, I'm baking something. Can I borrow a cup of sugar? Can I borrow eggs? I recently had to do this, and I felt weird. I was like, is this weird that I have to
What did you borrow?
I had to borrow an egg. I was one egg short.
Yeah.
And I felt weird. I mean, I contacted the person that I'm closest with in my neighborhood, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but I did feel weird doing it.
Yeah, I had to do that one time, and I picked neighbors that weren't directly next to us. They were across and down because I knew them, and I didn't feel. I felt a little bit odd. I'm like, we're making something. Do you have an egg? We need it. We just needed one egg, and that was it.
Same.
But our very next door neighbors, the Brzezowskis, no problem. I'd go over. They ask, we borrow things from them. They borrow stuff from us. We've got that type of
I
relationship.
cannot remember the last time I asked a neighbor to borrow something.
We borrow stuff from our downstairs neighbor all the time.
That's your mom.
My mom.
Yeah.
So 24% said they are very likely to borrow something. 29% said somewhat likely, 19% said not very likely, and 21% said not at all likely.
How likely are you, Kathy, to swing with your neighbors?
There's some weird people out there, and I'm not talking about swinging, but like just people that aren't like neighborly at all. It is just not. And I find that to be bizarre. People are very guarded. We used to work with a guy named Matt who had giant eyebrows, and I love him, but he was not, because he would tell me stories. He'd be like, he was having work done in his house. He was telling me that his neighbor came over and asked him, like, hey, what do you got going? He's like, I'm not telling you my business. I'm like, it's just what neighbors do. They see that you have, like,
so they can turn you in when you don't have a permit.
Right.
Well, that's also weird.
Hey, Bushy, what's going on over here?
Yeah, that's also weird.
We've lived in our neighborhood for a long time, and I've seen people come and go.
Yeah.
And after a while, I'm like,
I'm not going to get attached to you.
Yeah.
You're going to be gone soon.
not investing time.
They never stay.
Yeah.
And I always leave you gifts. I put roadkill in your mailbox. Why do they always leave around my house?
What is this, Nick?
I just was pulling it up for myself, but this texter married into the family that I was talking about, Vince and Bobby Verdiani.
Okay.
And so it's just such a small world. Sometimes we'll reference names on the show and a listener has a connection to them.
All right, survey says, let's move on to something else here.
That was two girls.
Two girls in a cup.
What would you eat from a cup if you were sharing it with another person?
Oh,
Beautiful, though. Honestly, the fact that this sort of beautiful music is accompanied to maybe one of the most vile videos ever recorded.
Okay. In a survey of 1,117 U.S. adults, they asked, regardless of whether or not you ever rode on it, was a school bus generally available to pick you up or drop you off from school in elementary school? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is it not for some people?
I guess not, because 62% said yes and 32% said no.
All right, so if you live in the city, you take SEPTA to school, right? If you live in Philly?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
That is your bus transportation.
Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe it's public transportation versus school transportation. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it says, whether or not you used it, whether or not was it generally available. I thought it was available for any school district anywhere.
It was weird because they would do the redistricting and I would always end up at the outer edges of whatever district I was in. So a lot of times I would end up having to walk. But I did have bus access throughout elementary school, but that ended in junior high and high school.
All right, what about the private schools, though? Because, like, your son goes to a school that's very far away.
Yeah.
He doesn't get bus service, does he?
No, there is, but it doesn't come to our neighborhood. Well, he's got to get two buses, so he gets dropped off at Marple High School and then takes a bus from there, and then on the way home he'll get the bus to Marple, and then there's a smaller bus that takes him to our neighborhood.
Okay.
So there was bus transportation in my school district growing up, but it was not offered to me because of where I lived in proximity to the school.
There you go. I always got burned that same way. And Kathy, I always had the longest effing bus ride. It'd be like, I'd say, dear diary, we're into the third hour for my bus trip home. I mean, it would take forever, and it was me and one other kid on the bus, and that was it.
Well,
Did you have to walk, Kath?
So that was just for one school. Once I got to the other schools, the bus, I was able to take the bus if I wanted it. But my elementary school, I either rode my bike or my mom drove me.
I remember the diametrically opposed energy level of the bus going to school and the bus coming home from school.
It's a complete difference.
The bus to school, it was zombies.
Yeah. Song of the Vogel Boatman.
Was just...
I was a zombie both ways.
And on the way back, it could get raucous.
The party?
Yeah.
Man, I was
not
so
necessarily
tired.
a party, but I mean, like, if a fight was going to happen, it was in the afternoon. It wasn't in the morning.
I love taking my bicycle to school in elementary school. I love that.
I was jealous of those kids, Steve, and any of the kids that could walk. I always thought that they were cool because they could walk to school and didn't have to take the bus. But Preston, when taking the sports bus home, like after middle school and early high school, we wouldn't get home until like 5:30. I was exhausted. And like, in the winter months, it's dark by the time you get home, and it's dark when you get up to go to school in the morning.
You mentioned the walkers. I was so jealous of them, Nick, and I think I was in kindergarten or first grade. And I didn't live anywhere near the school. The walkers got to leave first.
That's right.
I'm like, I want to be a part of
Yeah.
that. And so one day I decided I was going to walk home. And they let me. And I thought I knew the way home.
Oh, no.
I did not know the way home. Yet another in the Preston Elliott file of scare the living daylights out of your family.
Right.
Because I didn't show up off the bus from school, and I was wandering around in some neighborhood that I wasn't familiar with.
What is your name, young man?
I eventually made it back. I don't remember if I think I ended up walking up. I was way late, and my parents were none too happy.
I think that's why I was jealous of them, because they got dismissed first. And so there'd be the announcements, and especially walkers and private cars.
Yeah.
Walkers and private cars. And then it would be by bus number.
Let me ask you guys this about with your children, because they have phones and little computers in their pockets, because I feel like my kids don't know where anything is because they're not paying attention.
Yes.
Okay.
Casey, I just had this conversation yesterday with Jace. He forgot his phone. He didn't take it to school. So on the way home, he was like, he looks and he goes, wow, when did they put a mattress warehouse there? I was like, oh, I think 25 years ago. But he does. I think I could drop him somewhere like a few blocks away, and I don't think he could get home.
Dude, I've developed and it amazes my wife because I will, as I'm going anywhere, okay, that's that red building there and that, and I sort of remember I can find my way back even without GPS if I've gone one direction to that place.
Street names or landmarks?
Landmarks.
I'm landmarks.
Yeah.
I'm the same thing. But Rochelle knows the names.
Yeah.
Knows
That
the
I do
names
not.
And the route numbers and all this stuff, and I don't.
Yeah, so when I had turned 16 and got my license, I knew where anything and everything was. Yeah. In a big, giant radius around my house. And now that my son's driving, I'm like, man, you don't know how to get anywhere.
Case, and it's so burned into your mind. I went on the Google Street View, and I virtually drove around my neighborhood from childhood.
Yeah.
And I was able to navigate the streets.
That's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's cool. And then, oh my God, when did they get rid of that?
Yeah.
But it is cool. And because you had to have it burned into your mind. As you said, Preston, you'd be like, worrying your parents and off in some village somewhere.
So anyhow, interesting though. But yeah, 32% said no, they did not have a bus readily available. So I thought that was kind of interesting. All right, survey says, in a survey of 4,521 U.S. adults, currently, how often do you have your hair cut at home?
Never.
Either by yourself or by someone you live with.
Again, growing up as a kid, we always had my mom's friend. She would come over and she'd cut our hair in the kitchen.
My mom cut my hair.
My mom cut my hair.
My sister cut my hair because they both had been trained and worked in that industry.
So
for
when
a
you were
while.
a kid, you're talking about?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And into my teens and early 20s as well, because my sister that's what she was
Beautician.
doing for a living. But, you'd lean over the sink. Water was way too hot, burn your head off, and then sit in the chair and get your hair cut.
So we used to get the obvious, electric razor. We were getting buzz cuts, and that's what we had, and they would do that. So, but then it was always the barber.
We would always make a night of it, and obviously my name is Kathy. My aunt was also Kathy, so the woman that would come over to cut our hair was Kathy the hairdresser. So it was like, it's Kathy the hairdresser night. Everybody come over. She would cut our hair. She'd dye my mom and my aunts, and it was like a big thing in our house.
So this survey was asked of adults, and they asked currently, how often do you have your hair cut at home, either by yourself or someone else? 18% said always. That's a little higher than I thought it would be. 10% said usually. 13% said sometimes. 12% rarely. 37% never. So that's the highest amount. And 6% said, I don't have my hair cut anywhere.
So obviously I'm shaving my head at home, and that's the deal. But I wonder in the industry as a whole, like salons and things of that nature, since so many people do know how to do it or know people who know how to do it, what is the percentage of people who on average go to a salon or a beauty parlor or barber to get their hair cut?
I think it's much different now than it used to be, because
it used to be the only thing, right?
Well, because a lot of times now it's more of an experience. It's
maybe you're right.
Like a little, listen, it's not a spa, but sometimes it can be, and it's a little more, the higher end hair salons where you're going in and you're getting the whole experience. Plus, these hairstylists that used to be able to come to your house and cut your hair, they get fired from their jobs now if they do that.
Oh, all right.
Steve, I was talking to our friends at Shaving Grace. That's where I go. It's a men's salon. And since the pandemic, they've had an interesting adjustment. And people are still getting haircuts, obviously. But the work schedule and working from home has become so prevalent that people don't have to get dressed up as much.
That's true.
They don't have to wear suits as much.
Right.
And so therefore, they can get away with not getting haircuts as frequently. They're still getting them, but they're spacing them out a little bit further because they don't have to, do presentations or business meetings or whatever. So they have the same amount of business, just people coming less frequently.
Huh.
Interesting. All right. Well, some people do it at home, but for the most part, they do. The majority, according to the survey, do go out and get their haircut elsewhere. All right. Survey says. Like I said, some of these are really stupid.
Oh, we love the stupid ones.
Which of the following methods of transportation do you use at least once a month?
Okay.
Another great one.
Walking?
Yeah.
As a mode of transportation, not a mode of exercise.
Yes.
Okay.
Riding a bike or scooter, driving in your car or other vehicle, riding as a passenger in a car, riding on a bus, or riding on a ferry or boat. at least once a month. I would say walking definitely, riding as a passenger and driving in a car. I don't do a bus or ferry or a bike, only in the summertime.
Yeah.
So I walk and I drive. I am virtually never the passenger. In fact,
I had you as a passenger.
Right, yeah, he's with Kathy. And Kathy's a good driver.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
I never take a city bus. I walk a lot. I would like to take the ferry more often just because I think it's convenient to get from Philly to Camden. So for going to concerts, I just haven't done that since pre-pandemic either.
So Nick, I know where you live. Do you? And I'm not going to give your street address.
Give it out.
Give it out.
But I know where you live.
Just let it, if there's anyone home right now.
And so I was wondering if you guys walk to any of the restaurants
As much as we can.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
'cause I like it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, obviously, if the weather's good, you're more inclined to maybe walk there. How long does it take for you to get to one of those restaurants that I'm
one of my
talking
favorite
about?
restaurants? I can get there in 5 minutes.
Okay.
I used to live in sort of like the little town area of Wayne, and I miss that because I love walking towns. I used to live in Phoenixville as well. Phoenixville is a great walking town. Media is another example.
Well, that's my wife and I apologize for interrupting, but that is a place where we would like to go after the kids fly the coop.
Right.
I'd like to be in Media.
You want to relocate to Media?
Yeah, it's State Street right there,
Yeah.
man.
There you go.
You have everything that you need right there within walking distance.
Okay. Yeah, and shore-wise, if we're doing weekends down the shore, then walking, riding a bike, it's
part of the deal.
It's the preferred way to get around.
When we were
and
in
it's
Florida,
nice.
when we were in Florida, I was talking to two separate people who were nearing retiring age, and they have grandkids, but they downsized, and they downsized to one place at the Jersey Shore and one place in Florida. And I was like, man, that is living the dream. And in part, they did that because they could walk everywhere. Like they didn't have to worry about driving to so many different places. And that's a goal, man. If I can get to some point in my life and not have to drive places, I will consider my life a success.
You belong in the villages, sir.
That's right.
No. Not Florida. Any place but Florida.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Survey says, here's a stupid one for you.
Yay!
When you're watching a movie, do you prefer the credits to appear at the start of the movie, at the end of the movie, or no preference?
It depends on the movie and the type of movie. For example, some of the older movies, and/or say Chinatown, which is one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, the credits are in the beginning. And I love that. I think if you really want to melt into the movie, the less that seems movie-like, for example, credits and the roll call and the actors and so on and so forth, that can suspend the illusion a little bit. But again, I'm okay with it. Depends on the movie.
It depends on the movie. I agree, because sometimes there is a musical and visual montage at the beginning of a movie, and that's at the point they'll pop the credits up. Start to and they'll go through a fair amount of them.
Like Deadpool.
Yes, exactly.
But they were kind of like fake credits, actually.
They were fake credits, yes. But
Ferris Bueller too.
Did they do them at the beginning?
Oh no, they did them at the end. They made it entertaining. The montage at the end.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the beginning, so that when the credit, while the credits are rolling.
Right,
that makes sense too.
So Deadpool essentially ripped off Ferris Bueller in the ending.
And I think La La Land does credits at the beginning because they've got music playing. So
But yeah, I like the credits. I like some credits, at least the people in the movie at the beginning. I feel like there's so many times where I'm like, who's that? And then you have to stop, look up, see who it is. If you know that in the beginning, you just watch the movie.
All right, what about, say, an animated movie where you spend the first half of it going, who is that? I know that voice.
Who the hell
do you
is
like
that?
to get it out of the way, or do you like to not even think about it and try to figure out whose voice it is?
It's funny to see how Marvel has revolutionized end credits, because you became used to and forced to sit through the credits for the post-credit scenes.
Okay,
people would hightail it out, and that's why a lot of people in Hollywood were furious when they started to do this accelerated credit roll. So fast you couldn't even retain any of the information.
So I'm not a huge fan of sitting through the credits, but I do like those end credit scenes for Marvel. So when I'm sit there and forced to wait, I have like a little game that I like to play while I'm reading through the credits. You guys do anything, or you just sit there mindlessly?
I used to. We'd try to find either my own name, because it's a unique name, or the strangest names that you could come across.
It's Monty Python did that a number of times in closing credits. They will, and the Zucker brothers did it as well, where they'll pad the closing credits.
What the hell is a grip?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Still don't know what a grip is, but I try and
He sets
find
up lights.
Oh, well, hey, thank you.
I learned that from the Tom Wilson song, Stop Asking the Question.
That's right. That's right.
What does a key grip do? Sets up lights. That's one of the lines in it.
Yeah, so I just try and find the first names of all of my family members.
Okay, all your family members.
Yeah.
Okay. So according to this survey, where is it? Okay, 10% like it at the start of the movie. 56% prefer them at the end of the movie, and 29% or 28
again has some of the credits up in the front. There are some times where a movie will go for quite a long time before those opening credit, the title will come up.
Yeah, you know what the best example of that is Raising Arizona. It's like 20 minutes of movie.
Yeah.
And then they finally kick into the song that we used to play to end the show quite a bit. That yodeling song. Yeah.
We still do it.
Yeah, okay. Do we?
Yeah.
Mondays.
I don't listen
Monday.
most days.
Sorry.
But yeah, there's a whole setup to the movie of what they're going to do in the entire plot of the movie, and then they kick in the credits.
Yeah, there have been a couple movies where I'm like, oh, now the movie's going to start.
Yeah. Do you know it's one of the most interesting ones is the opening credits to Fahrenheit 451.
Okay.
Because it is about book burning.
Correct.
And so it starts, there are no written credits. This is Francois Trufel's production of Fahrenheit 451.
Interesting.
It's read. Yeah, yeah.
Nice little, little detail there. I like that. All right, let's see. What do you say? One more?
One more.
All right, this one is in a survey of 11,615 U.S. adults. How often do you see other drivers run red lights? And the options are daily, a few times a week, once a week, a few times a month, once a month, seldom, or never.
Almost daily, because the time that we're coming in, and especially on Lincoln, there are a number of lights, and a lot of people consider them, your call.
Just coming back from this Florida trip, I saw people just plowing through red lights left and right. It blew me away. And I was talking to one of my Uber drivers, too, and she's like, man, people they don't stop out here. She said, that stuff you hear about Florida, it's all true.
It's all true.
Wow, I don't think I don't.
When you're coming in the morning,
man.
so I get a number of people say on Lincoln there's a portion where it is 2 lanes and a couple of stoplights, and people will just slow down and just run right through them because there's nobody on the road at that time except for me and them.
I also equate, blowing through a light. You know what I mean?
Yes, like full speed.
Well,
that's what I was thinking.
Yellow turns to red.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
And they could have had time to stop,
but
and
they
just
didn't.
keep on, and they'll miss it by about a second or so.
What I see most often is we're all moving along and they slow down a little bit at the intersection and just kind of and make sure and then blow right through the red light.
Okay, so they've slowed down to make sure that it is indeed safe,
right?
And but they'll go through though it's time and you need to stop.
The thing that pisses me off, I don't know why it pisses me off, but it does piss me off when the red light is going to change green and then they already start driving through. Like
just hang on.
Just hang on.
Just hang on.
Yeah.
This stuff is there for a reason. It's a rule. And sometimes, yes, it doesn't always 100% apply to the very moment. But we follow these rules because we're not animals.
Animals don't drive.
But we're not beasts.
Yeah.
I saw an orangutan drive a golf cart once.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Now, I bet he obeyed all the stop signs and stoplights.
Yes.
So
good driver.
To answer the survey, here's how the survey turned out. 13% said daily they see people run red lights.
Yeah.
17% said a few times a week. 7% said once a week. 18% said a few times a month. 7% said once a month. 28% said seldom.
Then they must not be on the roads ever.
Or rural roads or things of that nature where they like on City Line, I guarantee you go right now, you're going to see a lot of lights being blown.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, okay, Casey, here, I'll give you a great example. This is only going to speak to people who know this area well. On Route 1, headed from 352 towards the Blue Route.
Yes.
You come to a stop sign, you're going to go on the Blue Route north. Yes. There's a red light.
Yes.
People turn left on red there.
You can.
Regularly. You can?
Yes, you can.
Because it's only
Now,
one way?
I know it's
only
one way, but
yeah.
are you allowed to turn left on a one-way street?
I never heard that.
Yeah, if
red light.
it's one way,
If it's one way.
unless there's a sign that says no turn on red, it's the same as a right.
I need verification of that.
Yeah, come on, cops. Call us.
I need full-on verification of that. I appreciate and understand why it would be okay.
It would make sense.
But I've always thought that it only pertains to turning right.
What about stop signs you routinely see blown through? And I'll tell you one in particular. When you're coming down off 76 onto the bridge to Lincoln or Kelly Drive,
Yes.
going down into Manayunk,
Yes.
you come down this long hill, and there is a stop sign there. And everyone blows it. And I'm like, it is a dangerous stop sign to blow because people are screaming down City Line. But yeah, I stop, and people actually get pissed at me for stopping at a stop sign.
According to the Pennsylvania Department of Motor Vehicles, you may turn left on red. As you have to stop, check for and yield to pedestrians and other traffic, and then you may turn left if you stop at a red light. If you're in the left lane and turning left from a one-way street onto another one-way street.
All right, there you go.
There you go. You're clear, man.
It's legit.
You're good to go.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, man.
I do appreciate it. And we have a police officer to corroborate that. I'm going to go to Barry. Hi, Barry.
Hey.
Hey. What's up, Fonz?
Absolutely right. The
Okay.
only way, this is the only way, is just one way from one way.
Okay.
That's the only way.
It
It's
makes sense.
absolutely right.
It makes sense, but I've never heard, left on red is okay, and because right on red is okay unless it's posted otherwise.
Can you go straight through an intersection if you gun it?
Yes.
In a red.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But with that, Steve, you got to close your eyes.
Got to close your eyes. It's the only way to do it. Otherwise, you get distracted and you'll veer into oncoming.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it, Barry.
I did have when Jace was a baby. I mean, and Steve, I think you've even said this as a joke, but when you're in the car, you're trying to talk to them.
Yeah.
What does at the traffic light? What does the green mean? Go. What does the red mean? Stop. What does the yellow mean? I swear, he said, "Hurry up, go fast." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
She's been watching mommy.
Yeah. All right. Interesting stuff. Well, thank you for playing along with Survey Says this morning, friend. We will take a break. Come back in a second. A reminder, we have a secret text word, your chance to win. No, not secret text word. We have Tattoos Day.
Yes.
Chance to win a Preston Steve Show themed tattoo from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing on South Street. We'll be right back. So text word tattoo to 39333.
Metro traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Today's first day of spring.
Yes, it is.
The vernal equinox.
It's not going to quite feel like it, but it is,
No.
first day.
And it's snowing in the Lehigh Valley.
Hey.
Steve, do you remember that there's a scene in the movie L.A. Story, Steve Martin movie.
Yes,
very fun, quirky movie.
I do enjoy it.
They're in the car and the radio's on, and the DJ or whatever says, "Oh, and don't forget, today is first day of spring." And they were like, "No, I didn't know. It's the first day of spring. Is it in the glove compartment? Do you remember that?"
Vaguely.
No.
Yeah.
And so he reaches in the glove compartment and pulls out a gun.
Oh my God.
Gun season. It was, and that's what it was. It was
Yeah.
like shooting season
It was
or whatever.
drive-by season.
I totally forgot that.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it turns into the Wild West on the road and they're shooting at each other.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. You know what I did see that, and I thought it was interesting, and I know this is not what the top we were going into, but when we spring forward with the clocks, why do we do that at 2 o'clock in the morning? Or when do we do it? Well, 1 o'clock.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. on a Saturday night. Why do they not do that at 4 o'clock on a Friday?
I don't know. I never have looked into the reasoning behind that.
So the workday ends earlier that day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that's probably why.
They probably do it so it doesn't inconvenience anyone's plans.
Yeah, they do it
all right.
in a null time.
Fair enough.
Connor pulled up the video of the scene from L.A. Story, which is a strange little movie, man.
Oh, yeah, the billboard interactions.
Speaks to them.
Yeah, it does all the time.
Those big freeway signs actually talks to Steve Martin.
Do did he?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what it says up on the screen.
I love that movie.
They realize it's the first day of spring and they have to start shooting at each other. But anyhow, no, what the equinox actually means is that we get both the northern and southern hemisphere get equal amounts of sunlight.
Yes.
The Earth's, for most of the year, the Earth's axis is tilted either toward or away from the sun. And during the equinox, the orbit lines up so that both hemispheres get an equal amount of sunlight. And so short of a couple of minutes here and there, day is equal to night.
Well, now we're on the upswing as far as daylight. Longer days.
Yep.
Lonely nights. Where would I be without my woman?
So the solstices mark the time, and then you have the solstices, which is the summer solstice and the winter solstice, and that's when we get the least amount.
And who are the
of either.
Jeffersons?
They live down the hall.
Dry cleaners, right?
They were dry cleaners, and they lived down the hall from the. Who are the neighbors?
Oh,
the
yes,
interracial couple.
yes, right, yes. Lenny Kravitz's
Willis's?
mom. Was it? It might have been.
Damn, I can't remember.
Yeah,
Man.
Roxy Roker.
Yeah, I just don't remember the characters.
Damn it.
Nick's digging for it.
I'll look at IMDb.
Discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, break up into groups.
Discuss the
right now.
neighbors of the Jeffersons.
Yeah, all right.
Very cool.
Anyway.
It's exciting. I think this is always exciting because, again, we start to head into a wonderful time of year.
The Willises, you were right.
There we go.
You had Helen and Tom Willis.
There you go. So yes, enjoy, friends, because there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes,
it's going to be summertime
you did
before
it.
you know it, and we'll all be basking in the warmth and enjoying the weather. I saw this story. I thought this was kind of interesting, and I would like to throw this out to you guys. And I'd known that this competition exists for a while. In fact, I had ran into this gal that worked at my local grocery store down the street and told me that she had won this years ago. But there was a story that I saw, a guy that was heading to the National Grocery Bagging Championships.
Yep. They've actually televised these.
All right, so my buddy Jeff, he worked at Pathmark forever, and he was like a master bagger, and he would win. I'm fairly certain, Jeff.
Were you back there master bagging?
To the picture of Howie Long up on the wall.
But I feel like, please text me, Jeff. Let me know that you did win.
I'm master bagging.
You won some sort of competition.
Case, I remember, to that point, I think a friend of mine worked at in Long Island. We had supermarkets, Waldbaum's, and I think that they had, in each store, they would have competitions just in the store to see who could be the best at bagging. Now, it wasn't simply speed. It was also placement of eggs and things of that nature.
Yeah. In fact, I think I remember seeing one where they would actually cut the bag away.
Yeah.
And see if it all held together properly.
Well, that's badass.
And stood in place perfectly balanced, and it had to be done in a certain amount of time, too. So that led me to think about maybe other things like this, and what would you be a champion of?
Well, or maybe you are legitimately, you maybe have won a contest.
Yeah. Maybe. Because there was another thing, Steve, that you had seen a little while back, and I think you sent a video to us of the championship bed maker.
That was Chuck sent that to us.
Chuck sent it.
I missed that one.
Yeah, Kath. So these guys and ladies do it. I think it's in, I don't know what Asian country it's in, but they have these competitions. They're out in an arena.
Yes.
And they're making beds. And I guess they're timed, and they check on their experts, folding and all the things that need to be done.
It's like hotel. It's a competition between hotel, workers.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay. I think I would be pretty good at packing luggage. That is something and so Kathy was really, really impressed that I was able to pack essentially like 8 days of clothes into a carry-on.
Okay.
This past week.
Now, would your strength be in being able to cram as much stuff as you can in, or is it
efficiently,
geonomically, or
all of it,
geometrically?
Yeah. There's an efficiency angle. There's a geometry angle. There is a.
Do you roll?
Sometimes. It depends on.
How do you roll?
Yeah.
How do you roll,
baby?
I will
That's how I roll.
T-shirts, because there's sometimes when you're packing your stuff, there is like a border of unused space. So
yes.
I will then I'll either cram underwear in there or roll up some T-shirts.
Okay. So I just purchased my first, I'm going out on a limb here, I purchased my first suit garment bag.
Ooh.
That is actually one that is more like a duffel bag where the suit can be rolled up in it so that you don't have that traditionally larger garment bag. So, and that to me, you need to be an efficient packer to make that work.
I want to be in a competition to fit the most amount of stuff in a small space. I'm like, as far, like if you're going on a road trip, you got to fit everything in your trunk. I'll get it in there.
Okay.
So you're good at that.
I will get it in there, and it'll be
Do you remember
organized.
in beauty pageants, Preston, they actually used to have one of the things they would do for talent would be sometimes they would pack luggage.
I remember the one woman who did that. Yeah, Kathy, I know one that you'd have to tell me whether or not this would be your category or not. Gift wrapping.
Yeah, I
be a
could
champion gift wrapper.
Yeah, I could be. Yes, I could do that.
Okay, speed and
No, I have to take my time because if the corners aren't right,
Yeah.
I have to refold them.
Okay.
I would say more
Precision?
so. I'd say more so aesthetic as far as like ribbons and bows and making it look nice.
So when I worked at Dunkin' Donuts years ago, I had quite a reputation for being able, all the mixes would come in these 50-pound bags. I could stack them better than anyone. Any of the other quote-unquote porters, you might know them as custodians. But I was the guy who could pack up that storage room better than anyone else.
I know that this is way antiquated and it's also radio oriented, so no one is going to know what I mean by this, but I think I have witnesses here. I used to be a champion of what we in the business called carts.
Yes.
Okay, so carts were these tapes that we would play. Songs were on them, commercials were on them. You had these big units. You would throw the card in the machine, hit the button, boom, it starts. And that's what we played audio from. And so therefore, to prep and to be ready for each break, we'd have a stack of these carts, like sometimes 15, 20 of them. And I could, and we'd stack them without separators, so there were all kinds of sound effects and stuff like that. So now we can be lightning fast with sound effects because we have these touchscreen units and all these ways to search and find these things. But what you had to do was literally grab the cart, slam it in the machine, turn up the fader, and hit the button. And these things were all stacked up. And sometimes it'd be one at the bottom you'd need, and there was like 15 carts on top of it, and I could whip that thing out.
Yeah.
And the rest of the stack would just fall.
It's like taking a tablecloth.
Straight. It was exactly what that was. I was a champion of
You were a champion of doing that.
Yep.
Have you ever seen the guys who are the champion? And there was a commercial with one. It was for Domino's, the pizza box benders. They.
Yeah, there's
I
a
love
guy
that
who's the fastest that they have video of him making them. And it's not that impressive. But
So,
he's the best.
I did get a text back from my buddy Jeff. He said, at my store, yes, I won, but he went to the next level.
Really?
There was a next level of grocery bagging competition, and he said people showed up bringing their own baggage racks.
It was in Nepal, right?
Yeah. He's like, losers.
Brought their own baggage wraps.
Yeah.
We found the video. The guy's name is Dale Lemerow.
Oh,
he
yes.
is the champion pizza box maker. Carter worked at the Domino's in Wildwood for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he said, I can't do this anymore.
Did he have to do this?
This is what he was doing the majority of the time. And you
Jesus.
don't make any money when you're doing that. You got to go out and be delivering them to make money.
Yeah, once you get you enter speed into these competitions, that's where I'm out because I just start to, I get nervous and jumpy and.
Speaking of speed, I am fascinated by videos, and a lot of times it's like street vendors and stuff like that. In sometimes they're in Asian countries where they're prepping food.
Yes. Oh my God. It's amazing. It's
Cutting
almost
up a watermelon or something like that.
hypnotic.
I love that stuff.
Wait, so this nail salon one of the nail salons that I go to, they always have stuff like that on their TVs. So I end up watching it, and it's like mesmerizing when they prepare food. They do as fast as you possibly can. But last time I was there, it was just and you guys know me, I don't eat any seafood, especially raw fish.
Yeah.
They were creating these like amazing fish dishes, and then they show them eating it, and it's like close-ups of their mouth and like them putting the food in their mouth. And I'm just watching. I'm like
fascinated by it.
Just fascinated. Yeah, it was mesmerizing.
There's a sequence, Steve, in the beginning of the movie, I Love You to Death, and Kevin Kline plays a pizza shop owner.
Right, yeah.
And it shows him, and it's not his hands. It's somebody, it's a very skilled chef cutting up mushrooms. And I'm like,
Right, yeah.
I'm like, I'm just fascinated by
You're a drummer. You should be able to do that.
Well,
paradiddles and
yeah.
I'm pretty good at cucumbers. I can slice through those pretty fast. I'll film myself sometime doing that.
I would
You ever
love to
seen
see
the-
that.
I'm pretty impressed with myself with that.
The pizza makers are doing two hands with their, like the pepperoni and symmetrical and the cheese and the displacement and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All of that is like I guess, an equivalent to ASMR.
By the way, if you feel that you have a championship, an unsung championship skill, call us now and tell us 215-263-WMMR. We'd like to hear about it.
You know what I'm pretty good at is making coffee at night. So I set the timer, and so what I do.
You set the automated timer?
I'm all about efficiency, Steve.
Yeah.
So what I do is, as I'm filling the reservoir with water, that's when I get all the coffee ready. So by the time the reservoir is filled with water, everything's done. Yes.
You time it out just right.
And if I can't get it done in time, I feel like I've lost that day.
I was making coffee in the hotel room the other day, Casey, and I put the creamer and the sugar in the cup before brewing the coffee.
Always do that, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to stir it nearly as much.
What you just discovered is one of the great secrets of Dunkin' Donuts coffee preparation. When the big breakfast rush in the morning at Dunkin' Donuts, you'll see them do this. If they want cream and sugar, I don't know if you can get it that way now. The cream and sugar goes in the cup first before the coffee goes in, because the coffee going in stirs it automatically.
Right,
Yep.
exactly, and you can skip that step.
Yep,
exactly. You talked about efficiency.
Yeah,
it's the night before.
Yeah,
going to work, because of the hour we get up. I try to have absolutely everything.
Yep.
Completely taken care of with the least amount of steps necessary to get through my morning. I have everything planned out. I take for the coffee, I have a Keurig. I put the cup underneath there, take the lid off, put the cup on.
You actually put the cup underneath, huh?
Just from time to time. And then I open it up and I insert the little guy, and all I have to do is slam it down and hit one button, and then that's going. And then I have it timed out perfectly to where I walk out to my car, I take my pre-made lunch out of the refrigerator, put it into my car because it would warm up in the car overnight. Otherwise, I would leave it in the car.
No, you couldn't do that.
By the time I get over there, I get my keys, I put on my shoes, and I grab my jacket. I hear the coffee is just finished, and then I have my cream. And I'm
like a machine, like a conveyor belt of efficiency.
I've got it timed out perfectly.
I'm sure I'm sure a lot of adults, do this. You learn through trial and error, but I'm sure that people who get up really, really early try to be as efficient as possible. That way, I don't know if you do it so you can sleep a little bit longer, you know what I mean? But I think any and every second you can gain in the morning.
Clothes are laid out. Like my impressive wardrobe. I lay that out. I picked up the night before, and
I'll take my morning medications the night before and put them into a little cup, have them all ready to go. Yeah, Casey does them for the week.
Yeah,
he's got them all set up.
forgot to take.
So I have mine in order in the medicine cabinet, my vitamins and all that stuff. Very quickly.
I'm going to go to a couple of calls here. I have Austin on the phone. Hi, Austin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to see you. All right. So what unsung champion of what championship do you believe you hold the title to?
I am probably the best cornhusker in the tri-state area.
All right.
Cornhusker.
Did you just comment on the YouTube page?
I did.
All right. I saw that comment, and I didn't know if that was a joke that I didn't quite understand. You're really good at cornhusking?
I'm really good at, so I'm not fast. I'm going to preface this with saying I'm not a fast corn husker.
Clean.
But when I husk corn, you won't find a single hair.
Yes.
Wow.
What's your secret?
That's pretty amazing.
The silks. Yeah.
And I've been that way since I was probably 6 years old. My family would make fun of me. I'd be out there for a long time husking corn, but then everybody would be like, this is the cleanest corn I've ever eaten.
Austin, I'm with you because when my wife does it, I sit there and I go, tisk, 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 tisk. And what I will do, I will set up a 2-stage corn husking station, because I will say, you do the first pass and then give it to me.
Wow.
And then
the backup pass.
I will clean it up.
I will suck it off.
I'll suck it all off of there. But I'm with you, man, because a lot of times people leave, and the silk doesn't bother me. I don't care. But some people it freaks out. But I'm with you, Austin. You got to get every one of those.
And Austin, what's your secret to getting all of that silk off?
I'm just incredibly
gifted.
I don't like it, so what will happen is if somebody else does it, I'll sit at the table during dinner picking it off, and it's kind of rude.
Right.
But it's like it really bothers me when I bite it. So I don't really have a secret.
He's meticulous.
He's got the gift. He's got the magic, the mojo.
Congratulations on your championship, sir.
I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you, Austin. All right, we'll go next to Evan. Hi, Evan. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Gadzooks.
Hey, Gadzooks. What's up, bud?
Yeah, well, I was on a work trip to India. We went over the weekend. We went to a mall, and one of the stores was having this packing competition on a suitcase. They had like a huge pile of clothes. They gave you a minute, and if you could get all the clothes nicely folded in you would win. And so I was the only American there participating, and blew them. Everybody else.
You won? USA!
Yeah.
USA! USA!
Did you win anything?
So the prize randomly was a Swiss Army knife, which they would engrave for you.
Oh, that's cool.
Right there.
Yeah.
It made it really difficult to get home because now I had this knife.
Yeah.
So,
dude, you won a packing contest. That's pretty cool.
I love it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right, thanks, Evan. Appreciate it, man.
World champion, really. I mean,
all these,
if you're winning another
these
country.
unsung heroes here that we have.
I
in
saw
our
that
area.
there was a video on Pornhub that seemed to be about one of these competitions. It was about fudge packing.
Fudge packing.
And
I haven't seen
it
that.
seemed to be similar.
You know who was really great at grocery bagging was David Letterman. He did it. He was a grocery bagger when he was in high school, and I just got an email from a listener who reminded me of it. He would do this on his show from time to time, and he would like try to compete with the people, Preston, that you were referencing at the beginning of this segment, people that would do these competitions, and Letterman would often beat them. He's really good. At
Really?
Yeah, that's how, he was damn good at bagging groceries.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of different trades where you have to do this repetitive motion, and that's definitely one of them. And I would imagine you get to be pretty damn good at it.
I love it when you work out a system. I think it's maybe American in Paris, the musical. There's an opening sequence where Gene Kelly is doing stuff in the kitchen, like the back leg is closing the drawer, and everything. You know, he has it timed out where it's all this precise things. I do love that. I'm a creature of habit, so I do like having that prep.
Have you seen these videos? It's a series of guys. I think it's like 3 guys, and like the one I'm thinking of right now is they're sitting around the house, and the house is a mess, and all of a sudden they say, "Oh, Mom just pulled in the driveway." Yeah, and they have to clean up the house. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
You know, it's a perfect example.
It's stunt wise, they have it worked out, but
to the
it's
second.
incredible.
And the sequence in Batman Forever where Robin is doing the laundry with
the laundry.
Yeah.
That's great.
With the
it's almost like a Rube Goldberg machine type of thing he's doing. He's whipping it and grabbing the mop and throwing it around, drying it off and stuff like that. I love things like that. But I don't know what you get for the grocery bagging championship.
Swiss Army knife engraved.
Yeah. You know what competition I would lose is ironing competition. I would. How would you do in that, Kath?
Yeah, I'd be okay in that. Ironing?
Even if it was quick ironing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could drop an F-bomb right now because I would just say F ironing.
Yeah.
It's such a pain in the ass. It takes so long.
Is there a workaround to ironing?
Yeah, you fold it up, you throw it in the drawer and leave it there for a month.
That's what I do.
It comes out.
Like house, because I'm sure they have this in like cleaners and stuff like that, but almost essentially like a food press, you know, for
Well, they used to have those. You remember
like a panini bake.
Those big. You know,
Oh yeah.
The
They're
steam
awesome.
press things.
Yeah.
No, but Kathy, like a full table size.
Where you would like steam a print on
You
your
can make
shirt.
like 20 grilled cheese sandwiches at once.
If you hate ironing, you should try one of those steamers because it is way easier.
No, we have one. They're still a pain in the ass.
But at least you don't walk out looking like a wrinkled mess.
Yeah.
No, or just do what I do and wear T-shirts and shorts.
So I use hangers a lot. I hang all my T-shirts up.
Do you?
So
Yeah, I fold them.
So I think it's easier for me to select them because if I go through the drawer and I start
Then they're
messing them
all
up,
right. I'm with you, man.
So I do
Same
that. I
thing.
do the hang only, but I think that they kind of, because they all squish together, that it kind of flattens them out a little bit.
Yeah, you have to make sure they go in flat.
No, I mean like I'll send in some wrinkled and leave them in there.
I meant so like straightened out because if say like a corner of it, you know, and then everything's pushed together,
Then
forget
crease is
it.
going to be there.
Yeah.
So when I was in a spring break in Key West, I won a pizza eating contest, but I was the slow anchor in that one. So it was like I think there was 3 of us. We had to finish the pizza in the
It was
shortest amount of time.
speed over quantity?
It was speed because everybody was given one pizza, and I think it was teams of 3. And I think I might have eaten one piece of pizza in the time that like the rest of the team finished the whole pizza. Yeah, I'm not a fast eater.
Let's go to Sean. Hi, Sean. Good morning.
Durka.
What's up, buddy?
I love that.
Oh yeah, hang on a second. I can do that for you.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh, Durka.
Yeah. What's going on, Sean?
So I think I was the best burrito wrapper when I worked at Wawa.
The best burrito wrapper. Were you often complimented on your burrito wrapping skills?
Oh, yeah. We would have instances where people would be like,
someone would try and fold the burrito, and I'd be like, no, give that to Sean. He can do it better.
There is a skill to burrito wrapping. A lot of people, Sean, will do it without folding the sides, and then all their fixings fall out of the thing. And I've seen at places like Qdoba and Chipotle where they will take a massive mound.
I'm like, there's no way they're going to get that all in there.
And they can make it.
Oh, it's impressive.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about like pasta makers or like ravioli makers or people, or I know that
dumplings.
People do it by
things like that.
hand. That there's a skill to doing that and doing that quickly.
Very much so.
What about people who like roll cigarettes? Or I remember rolling joints for.
Thanks, Sean. Oh, there's a great video of Willie Nelson on. I think he might have been on Letterman. And they time him rolling a joint, and I mean, it's lightning fast. Lightning fast. Within 2-3 seconds at the most.
That's amazing.
What? Yeah, it's incredible.
Are you good at rolling a joint?
No, I was terrible at it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I never got
I'd use
good
the dollar
at it.
bill method.
Okay, yeah.
And fold the corners.
Yeah, I never got
Those are
good
chump.
at it. Oh, crap. What was I going to say?
Sorry, man.
I lost it. Anyway, you win $10,000 if you win the National Grocery Association Bagging Championship. So you can win local prizes, and then if you go to the Nationals, which are in Vegas, you win $10,000.
In Vegas?
Okay. Yeah, the gal that was at my local store, she was a stripper, too. I just remember that.
Wow.
Huh.
It was
I
interesting.
wonder where she made more money. Probably stripping, right?
Probably.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Most likely. All right, let me get another call here. I have Bill. Hi, Bill. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey,
first off, I just want to let you guys know I'm with the Church of Sidelon Concon.
Oh, Sidelon Concon. Yes, and much more.
Excellent.
Yeah, I love that. Sidelon Concon.
What's up, bud?
Hey, so I'm a extremely fast wonton soup eater. A quart of wonton soup comes with 10 wontons, and I will kill it in under a minute.
You can kill 10 wontons in under 1 minute.
Not necessarily the broth, but the wontons. Yeah.
Okay, that was my question.
No, the international rules, you have to finish the broth as well.
Do you?
Sure.
I mean, I finished the broth, but not in that minute.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the wontons are already kind of slick from the broth, so they could slide right down. No
I
problem.
don't want to chew them.
You're not allowed to chew them?
No, I do chew them.
Okay,
do
well, that's
chew
pretty
them.
amazing.
Okay.
All right, so you're not, yeah.
Congratulations on your success, Bill. Sidelon Concon.
What's the food you can eat the fastest in a fairly decent amount? If you put your mind to it. Food that you eat quickly. Casey, you've already said you're not a fast eater.
I'm a fast coffee drinker.
Yeah.
It drives Rochelle crazy because I will polish.
You don't nurse it.
No, not at all. Especially if I've creamered it up and made it nice and yummy.
You'll gulp it down.
I'll just gulp it down, and
But what
Rochelle
if-
will sip on hers for an hour.
What if I sat you on the window seat and you were just staring out the window and I made you hold the cup with two hands and you just kind of...
Well, see, no, but if I creamer it up, it's nice and cool and it doesn't have that heating quality that I'm going to hold this in my hands
What if
for a
you're
little while thing.
having coffee and you're reading a little Sylvia Plath by the window? Waiting for an old friend to stop by.
Now, I'm trying to think of the food that I would devour most quickly. That is a very good question.
I tell you what, I call it running the sleeve.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
running the sleeve on the Girl Scout thing.
cookies.
Yeah,
I eat sushi way too quickly because they're bite size and usually shove an entire one in my mouth.
Yep.
But the problem with it, among other things, is that I don't enjoy it as much.
And it's expensive.
Well, yeah, I'm wolfing down $6 at a time.
Yep. I know there's something that I eat way
Somebody
too
said
quickly.
pierogies on the text board. I'd probably eat pierogies pretty fast.
Yeah.
You put one in, right?
where you lose all control and you start shoveling it in.
Well, if you can get one in at a time, like that's what I'm thinking with pierogies or a lasagna.
Yeah.
I mean, not a ravioli.
I've never had a pierogi that I loved.
We had pierogies here one time that I loved. There's a Polish named pierogi place. Marissa probably knows. It's in Fishtown, maybe Northeast Philly.
There's the one place that you get the kielbasi, and then there's the one place you get the pierogies.
Yes.
That was like 3 boyfriends ago. I forget.
That's how you measure time. It's 3 boyfriends ago.
JT, hey.
No, maybe it was 2 ago.
Okay. Right. What I don't like is when you get a really, really delicious cocktail.
Oh, and you want to chug it.
It's gone in seconds, and you just paid $17 for this concoction, and it's gone in 30 seconds.
Learning how to pace yourself just so you can enjoy it longer.
Hey, Steve, what'd you think of the Orange Crush? You got a virgin Orange Crush.
I thought it was really good. So it reminded me like a lot of Orangina.
Yeah.
But the one thing that really set it apart was that you can tell those oranges are fresh.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was amazing.
All right, hang on. I'm going to go to Sandy. She says she's a champion. Hi, Sandy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. All right, so
Sandy.
what's your category that you're a champ in?
I am a champ at putting IV lines in.
Putting in an IV line, that makes you the queen then, because that is something, that is a skill that I've been with, let's say, nurses that were not that adept at it, and it's not so good.
I've had patients say to me, I didn't even feel that.
I know,
you go.
That's the best. It happens from
That
time
is
to time
the
where you cannot feel anything.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, that's a
That's
win.
a gift. You're an angel.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I just retired. I did it for 35 years as a nurse, and it was, I don't know why I could do it so well.
Wow.
But I learned to be calm, cool, and collected, and you just sit down and relax.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, you got the gift. When I actually
natural knack.
had to give an IV drip to my cat. The first time I ever, I've given insulin shots to my cat, one of my cats. But that IV thing, that's a much longer needle. That's a whole different animal.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and once you get it though, I'm sure you're masterful at it. I got pretty decent. Again, it's a cat who's really not going to complain. But good for you, man. That's terrific.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Sandy. Thanks for making people happy. Wait, Nick, did you find the pierogi place? There's people texting.
And I don't want to butcher it. I think it's Shervs, but I'm
Shervs.
Yeah, it's
For Shervs.
CZERW.
Yes,
is how you spell sure.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. And I'm sure I'm going to butcher it. But
I get lost in some of the Polish names.
It's in Port Richmond.
Okay.
And if they want to send some over, you guys will sample and see how good they are.
There we go.
All right, I'm going to go to another caller, and his name is Preston. Hey! We got Preston. Yo, P, what's up?
Hey, everybody. It's good to have you on the bop, bop, toodle, bop, two, bop, bop, a doo, ga, ga, bop, a da.
Not bad. Not bad at all, sir.
Is this future Preston?
All right, what are you a champ at, Press?
I am actually a champ at manipulating morning radio phone lines.
Okay. So you have got the skill of calling in, getting in, and getting in for contests?
No, for stuff like this, I gave a fake name and a fake.
Wow. Because we used to have like prize pigs and stuff like that.
Wait, so like your stories aren't real?
I think I told the guy I was an expert oxtail skinner, and yeah, that's not true.
That's not true. And your name's not Preston.
No, it's Matt.
Well done, Matt.
yeah,
That's
I
good.
love it.
Wow.
You proved your point.
Wow, you won the championship,
Thank you,
bro.
sir.
We do have somebody who calls in and changes his name, and every time he does it, Nick and I look at each other, we're like, it's him.
We know.
Well, there was a guy for a while, and then we were like, this is the same dude who gave us that story a while
Well,
back.
not that guy. No,
he
it
was great.
By the way, it's okay.
Yeah.
Call in with your made-up story if it's a good one.
Yeah.
if you're made of
We can't tell.
All right. Well, anyhow, congrats to all the champions who listened to the show this morning.
They are the champions.
And maybe think about it a little bit. You might be a champ in something you didn't realize. So, yeah.
Chocolate. Wrong, Homer. This one.
I am the champion.
Okay. That works.
I am the champion.
All right, we will take a quick break. We will come back in just a moment, and we have some bizarre file stories when we return.
Preston and Steve.
There.
That's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Real quick before we get to the BFL shout out and cool little email. Yesterday we were talking about Voyager 1 and the fact that it's sending these gibberish messages back. And we got an email from a guy named Mark Sereni. Mark worked on he said, I worked on a larger version of Voyager 1 that was used on the Cassini spacecraft that went to Saturn.
Amazing.
Also worked on the device that went to Pluto. Worked on these programs up in Valley Forge. Really cool to work on them. And even better, both programs worked perfectly. He said, he was talking about Voyager. He said, in short, as you found out, it is a nuclear device that provides the electricity for the probe. The device is called a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, or an RTG. It converts the nuclear heat to electricity. Once you get past Jupiter, you have to use them since you will be too far away for solar panels because we were wondering how it stayed powered.
Isn't that amazing?
And that was from Mark. So, Mark, that must have been really cool to work on that stuff.
Absolutely.
Thanks for checking in. We appreciate it.
Why are you listening to us?
All right, and then a shout out, two of them actually. Says, good morning at Presbo, March 18th and 20th, and my daughter Ashley and son-in-law Tom's birthdays. Could you please give her a, it says a pool boy Ben Affleck shout out and a big yoo-hoo for her husband. We went up last week to surprise her for her 40th birthday. Thank you guys for all you do. Keep it in Nooch. That is from Mark Emmons in Florida. So
I'd like to apologize to Jennifer Garner and her pool boy Ben Affleck.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And then this one is from our buddy Cast Iron Kyle, who checks in from time to time. He said, I want to send a shout out to my brother, who is a more of a diehard Preston and Steve fan than I am.
That's wild.
And I'm not sure how that's even possible, he says. The show has brought us together for the last decade and a half, and we're so close because of you. We constantly text each other about something funny that happened and share clips with each other. We're so close because of the show and enjoy so much time together laughing, and I want to send him a shout out. His name is Tyler, and I love him a lot.
All right.
And that's from Cast Iron
That's
Kyle.
great. Love
And
that. Bringing
actually-
families together.
Yeah, and
That's
Cast Iron Kyle's his Instagram is a pretty funny follow.
Yeah, you mentioned,
he puts up some decent content.
And he wanted to know how your skillet was and my skillet, Casey. He was
It's
asking.
good.
So
It's
we're
good. It's
skillets.
not big enough for some of the dishes that I'd like to cook in there, but I use it as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, he buys and sells cast iron skillets.
Yeah.
Which is his full-time job. So thank you, Kyle. All right. Yeah, we need to do the bizarre file. So here we go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by 80 Moyer Lumber, trusted experts since 1939. 80 Moyer Lumber is your professional source for decks, windows, doors, kitchens, millwork, and more. Visit them on the web at admoyer.com. I have 3 snake stories for you. A well-known snake hunter is fighting for his life in intensive care after being bitten by a highly venomous tiger snake in a freak accident. And yes, this did happen in Australia. Mark Pelly was bitten on Sunday morning when his equipment broke during a capture in Melbourne, allowing the snake to turn its head and latch onto his hand. His daughter Aisha said that it was still too early to tell how her father would recover 5 days on from the incident. She said, I know he's strong and resilient and believe he will pull through. Ms. Pelly has been sharing updates of the situation on his social media accounts where messages of support have flooded in from his thousands of followers. She said this was the first, quote, proper bite that her father had received in 14 years as a snake catcher.
Oh, it's proper, all right.
She said the venom went straight into his circulation system from a deep bite and started to have neurological effects immediately. I watched him lose consciousness very fast in front of my eyes. Tiger snakes count for about 17% of human snake bites in Australia, with 4 deaths recorded in the 10 years to 2015. Ms. Pelly said her father stopped breathing several times. She believed he had died when emergency services rushed to the property. He received 2 antivenom doses, but remains weak and suffered from muscle and nerve damage and heart irregularities. But he actually shared an Instagram post saying, I can't open my eyes and I feel so sick. This is what it looks like when you catch a tiger snake and it bites you. He said, even someone as experienced as me can get bitten. So, wow.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, hopefully he's going to
Maybe
pull
a
through.
new line of work.
Now, listen to this snake story. A YouTuber out of India called Elvish Yadav has been accused of supplying snake venom to be used as a party drug.
What?
Yadav has about 15 million YouTube subscribers and has won an Indian version of Big Brother. He has denied the allegations, which came after police recovered 9 snakes, including cobras, from a party. Yadav has agreed to fully cooperate with police. In the past, snake venom has been used as a recreational substance in India.
What the So do snakes like to party?
I guess maybe if you take tiny little doses of it, it can be intoxicating and not kill you or come close to kill. That's insane.
It's like playing with fire. It's
That's
like
insane.
No.
Wow.
What is it? The licking of the toads?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, and then this is my third story. It's not quite as sexy as those, but a snake catcher was called out to a home in Queensland, Australia.
Again!
Where the second most venomous snake in the world was found literally trying to hide among the undies in a resident's bedroom.
Underwear snakes are the worst.
Sunshine Coast snake catchers posted a video to Facebook showing snake catcher Daniel Rumsey's encounter with a juvenile eastern brown snake in a woman's bedroom.
He is a snake in your bloomers.
The video shows the serpent slithering through a pile of underwear. Rumsey says in the video, literally trying to hide among the undies on the second story in the second most venomous snake on the planet.
But no trouser snake.
No trouser snake.
Your wife should wash her vagina.
Oh, my God.
This is god-awful.
The snake was relocated to a wilderness area.
That's right, it stinks! The hell does she ever wash her cooter?
My God. After returning home from an extended vacation in Costa Rica, a Montreal man got the surprise of a lifetime in the mail. The Quebec government thinks that he's dead. In a 14-page letter from the Ministry of Justice, the government wrote that it is hoping to collect money from Mick Fatoro's estate for a speeding ticket. The problem is he's alive. No. The 34-year-old says he contested a speeding ticket from 2022 and then left for an extended vacation in Central America.
How comforting to know that after you pass away, the government will come after you for a speeding ticket.
For a speeding ticket! He said, completely forgot about it, came back, and I got this letter. Faturo said that he was taken aback and is thankful that his mother never saw it. He says that he tried to call the government to prove that he is actually alive, but
it's not you. We can tell.
Wasn't able to speak to anyone. He said it's very hard to get through. Sometimes it happens to have some mistakes like this, but it's really, really rare, according to lawyer William Corbalti. He says that Futuros needs to declare that he's alive and quickly. Futuros said he just wants to prove that he's not dead and get that all taken care of.
What if you're the kind of person inclined to go off the grid and you had basic certification from the state that they believed you had passed?
Yeah.
Which would serve as, in a court of law, as proof that you'd passed, correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
You could take advantage of that.
That's a good question.
Go play with the snakes.
One last story. United Flight 433 lost an external panel mid-flight. This is another one of these.
Another one.
And the crew had no idea until the Boeing aircraft landed in Oregon. After the aircraft was parked at a gate, it was discovered to be missing an external panel, according to United Airlines.
Back home to Argonne.
Was it a 737 MAX?
No, it was well, that's a good question, Nick. It does not indicate in this particular story, but we do know the pilot's name, I think.
Back home to Argonne, Jimmy.
Yeah, there he is.
Pilot Jimmy.
The aircraft
had a problem.
Took off from San Francisco on Friday, and it looks like a Boeing 737.
Uh-huh.
So
Did you see the footage of the Boeing employee talking about how he would never fly on one of these aircraft?
Is that the guy that got killed?
No, that wasn't the whistleblower. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
That story is disturbing.
Very.
The aircraft took off from San
Better
Francisco.
think again.
Took off from San Francisco on Friday. It was headed towards.
Back home to Argonne.
So far, no one has reported finding the panel. Fortunately, no one was injured, but this is another
talk to Jimmy.
Concerning episode for manufacturer Boeing.
By the way, look at this panel, the picture of this, where this panel, this is not insignificant.
Yeah.
We watched
sizable hole.
John Oliver did a whole piece on Boeing and made the mistake of watching it right before our flight to Florida last week because it's all about the 737 MAX. And
did you make note of the aircraft we were on?
Yes, indeed.
Was it a 737?
737-800.
Okay.
There are a few different models, but the 737 MAX is the one that's been encountering all sorts of difficulties over the last few years. But don't watch that segment before you fly anywhere.
Good idea.
Don't destroy it.
All right, we're
Barry got a lot of advice.
We are going to take a break. We are come back in just a second or so.
And what are you doing?
We're taking a break, and we're coming back in a moment.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here?
The
morning show.
Preston and Steve show. We'll be back in just a second, so stay with us, please. Weezer on 93.3 WMMR, hitting the hash pipe. 10:22, Tuesday morning, the Preston and Steve show. A few more minutes, not many, left for you to text word tattoo to 39333. Get your shot at winning a Preston and Steve show themed tattoo from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing, 1729 South Street, Philadelphia. So don't miss the opportunity. Get on that now. All right, we are going to give something away for our lesson question. We have a pair of tickets for the exclusive theatrical premiere of Hate to Love Nickelback, which will be in select theaters 2 nights only, March 27th and 30th. And the question that we will go for is, Casey's friend Jeff was so good at bagging at the grocery store, he was known as a what? 215-263-WMMR. Casey's friend Jeff was so good at bagging at the grocery store, he was known as a what? 215-263-WMMR. Let's see if you know the answer. We'll do the trash while you call.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you by Sequoia Outback. Stop in for their annual Spring into Sequoia sale going on now. Route 309 in Hatfield or at decksupplies.com. Experience the ultimate at Sequoia Outback. What's up this morning, Steve?
Well, Elizabeth Hurley says she was totally at ease being directed during a sex scene by her son, Damien. Hurley says Damien is more mature than most 10-year-olds.
Oh, my God. Hey!
Steve Burton is back on General Hospital, and fans are finally realizing where his character Jason Morgan has been all these years. According to showrunners, Burton has been forced into hiding after accidentally discovering that those giant wolves in the Great Wolf Lodge commercials are real.
Oh, my God.
And finally, Olivia Rodrigo has been getting praise from some on social media for allowing emergency contraceptives to be distributed during her concerts. However, Rodrigo is also receiving blowback for allowing her roadies to perform abortions. And that's your Hollywood Trash.
We will see if you know the answer. Casey's friend Jeff was so good at bagging at the grocery store, he was known as what? 215-263-WMMR. We will go to Brian, see if he knows. Hey, Brian, morning, bud.
Radio.
All right, Brian, do me a favor and tell me what he was known as, please.
Was it a master bagger?
Yeah.
That is correct, sir. Hang on. Going to give you a pair of tickets for the exclusive theatrical premiere of Hate to Love Nickelback. Come to select theaters at 2 nights only, March 27th and 30th. Hate to Love Nickelback tells the authentic story about the band from their humble beginnings in Hanna, Alberta, to their explosive global success in 2001 and the highs and lows that followed. For tickets and information, visit nickelbackfilm.com, and another chance to win tickets is available at WMMR.com.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
I rip ass.
Brought to you by Natural Lawn of America. Natural Lawn has been creating green lawns quickly, more naturally, and with fewer weeds since 1987. Get free seeding every year. Call 800-FREE-SEED now. I just have 2 things to pass along to you, and that's it. Roger Daltrey of The Who is returning to the United States for a special solo tour this June. The shows will be mostly acoustic with Who songs and rarities, as well as his own solo music.
When was the last time he did a solo tour?
I don't know. The 80-year-old will kick off a 9-city tour on June 12th. He's not really coming close to us. He's going to be in Boston on June 20th. Yeah, and he's doing some upstate New York stuff. But he has not made his way through Philadelphia. It doesn't mean he won't. Maybe he'll enjoy his time and add some more dates. So
what about the charity show that they always do every year? It's with Pete Townsend.
The Bridge School?
Is that?
Bridge School is Neil Young.
That's Neil Young.
Well, Nick, you remember that, right?
Yeah, Eddie Vedder's done it a lot, and they're doing that again this year too, Steve.
Is that in the States?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
that's
okay.
in
Albert Hall?
I believe that's Albert Hall, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Teenage Cancer Trust.
That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's got Squeeze this year, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Eddie Vedder, Noel Gallagher, Chemical Brothers, so good artists.
Yeah, nice. And then one last thing, and that's it. Speaking of Eddie Vedder, he praised Taylor Swift and her fan base in a new interview with Mojo. The Pearl Jam frontman detailed his experience of attending a Taylor Swift show with one of his daughters, and he talked about how much of a community Swifties were, particularly with their practice of making friendship bracelets and trading them with other fans at shows.
The pictures of him, at least in the video of him being a supportive dad attending the show, it was kind of cute.
They're great.
Yeah.
He said the craziest thing was it reminded me of punk rock crowds. of being aligned with all of the misfits in our town back in the day. It was galvanizing and powerful. So he sees a strength in the fan base and the crowds when they're together. So Pearl Jam has an eventful 2024 ahead of them. They'll be releasing their 12th studio album Dark Matter on the 19th of April. So
I also think Travis Kelce is totes adorbs.
So far, the band has released one preview of the album in the form of the titled track, and the album is available for pre-order. Additionally, a special edition of the album will be available on Record Store Day, which is taking place on April 20th. Their shows in Philadelphia will be September 7th and 9th at the Wells Fargo Center.
Nice.
Yep.
Unbelievable to say that.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all I have is a shorty in music news for you this morning. We'll take a break. We'll come back in a second. Letter of the day, word of the week prize. And don't forget your host this week, Middays MMR, Jackie Bam Bam. He'll be by. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Jackie Jacques Bam Bam.
Yes.
Good morning.
Be joining us shortly. Hey, man, how you doing?
You were talking about champions. Is there an award? Do I get the award for cleaning the litter box? I think I did it 93 times this morning. Boy, my cat's pooping.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, you just have one?
You didn't know they
2.
do that, right?
0 and Hazard. I didn't give them an IV, Stephen. They're still pooping their brains out.
Wow.
Well, how many boxes do you have?
I have 3.
Okay. We have 13.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you're the champion then.
Yeah, Steve would definitely be the champion of that. Wow. How you doing today, man?
I am bundled up. I don't know if there was room in my suitcase for mittens, but maybe I should have packed them. It's the first day of spring and it's freezing out there, right?
I know.
You can get your free water ice at Rita's, though.
Oh, yeah. I saw you were doing an appearance last weekend, was it?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
And we have a new flavor. What's it called?
Sour Patch watermelon.
I almost said SpongeBob Kids something.
SpongeBob Kids something.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah. Get 2 SpongeBob Kids somethings, please.
Did you try the new flavor, the sour
I
patch?
got a quart of it. I did not get a chance to try it yet.
Your kids like the really sour stuff?
They love it.
Yeah, mine too. I'm not into it.
Yeah, it was never my scene.
Yeah, all right. Well, Jackie, we need a letter from you.
I got it.
All right, here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right, the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter.
The letter I is incredible. Incredible.
All right.
Incredible.
Yes, I. All right, and we have a pair of pit tickets and concert T-shirts for MM Barbecue Saturday, September 21st. Tickets are on sale now via Ticketmaster, including the early bird lawn ticket special, $25 plus fees. And don't forget about all that information available at WMMR.com. Before we find out what Jackie's got going on, today is Tattoos Day, and we need to give away our prize. So let's do that very thing. I would like to congratulate our winner, Maggie Elliott. Woodland, Pennsylvania's own Maggie Elliott. Going to get a $350 gift certificate for Floating World Tattoo and Piercing, and you can take a look at their artwork. Stop by and see them, 1729 South Street in Philadelphia. And the samples are available at floatingworldtattoos.com, or you can check them out on Instagram at Floating World Tattoos. So you got the whole day. What's up, man?
I do. I said it's freezing out there, and tonight, 11:06, I believe, officially it's spring. So we'll sprinkle in a little block of spring tunage, sounds of the season. Today in 82, we sadly lost Randy Rhoads, so we're going to honor his life and legacy. Big block Ozzy. And we got a letter for Pierre for the Metal Gods Judas Priest. We'll fill in the double shots. Of course, we'll open up the bat lines, and we have a chance at winning John Fogerty Thorogood tickets for our FM Center in Camden coming up June the 7th, and then VIP suite passes to join yours truly and that crazy guy over there, Casey Boy. Woo! We're going to Dover. Yes, Motor Speedway, April 28th. So you'll sit in the VIP suite with us.
Excellent.
Woo!
Giving all that away today.
Yeah.
All right. I would like to thank our sponsors. Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by Dunkin', and the Preston and Steve Show runs on Dunkin'. Also brought to you by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors, and Meineke. Meineke Car Care. You won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot. Tomorrow on the program, it is a Wednesday, so we will do Fox Good Day. We will have a secret text word, and we'll see what else we can get into as well. So that's it. We're done. Rage on. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. And wear your retainer, too. Don't forget that.